Check, check. Check, check. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Pregame Stadium. First game of the CJFL season. Here today, we have the Westshore Rebels in town to go up against your Langley Rams. Introducing the referees for today's matchup. Referee Sandy Page, umpire Richard Chandler, headliner Tim Mondrell, side judge Eddie Reese, ball judge Hans Vanderbilt, line judge Scott Hyde, and field judge Nigel Booth.
I never caught how to
At this time, I'd ask you please rise, remove your hats, caps, and helmets, and we'll face the south end of the field, introducing Miss Mackenzie Duffel for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
There it is. It's my all-time favorite song, Oh Canada, and it makes us time to play some football here from McLeod Athletic Park. Season opener, the home opener here for the Langley Rams in 2018. It's Jake Elliott, Justin Morris set with you as we get set for another season of BCFC football, powered by Remax and Treeland Realty. Justin, another gorgeous day. I don't think you can have bad weather here at McLeod Athletic Park. A beautiful day for football as we're about to get started. Langley Rams and the Westshore Rebels.
Absolutely, Jake. What a pleasure to be back here as well. Maybe having some microphone trouble here at the moment. Let's see if we can sort this out.
Yeah, we'll fix your mic up and we'll get that sorted out here momentarily and continue on. As last season, it was 9-1 for Westshore, 4-6 for the Langley Rams.
How about there? There we go.
We solved the problem. Magic.
Wonderful.
Well, almost like you know what you're doing down there.
A little bit, yeah.
Operating the mixer board.
The ones and twos.
We're off to a hot start here as the Rebels, 9-1 last season, don't wear their red jerseys. White numbers popping off those red jerseys, as you may notice here as you watch the live video stream on BCFC TV. Langley has switched sidelines here at McLeod Athletic Park, now across the way in their blue jerseys with the white helmets. Interesting move for the new head coach here in Langley, one Matt Snoop Blocker.
Yeah, I was thinking initially that might be them trying to get away from the sunshine a little bit there. But that's not going to be the case, of course, because they would get to enjoy the shade on the side that they have given up.
Yeah, I think more of a case where they want to get away from the sideline and distractions going on in behind them. So we're still fiddling with our audio here a little quiet in my ear. I don't know if you can hear me okay, Justin. That's much better right there. Thank you.
No problem.
So coin toss just about to get going. I mentioned 4-6 for Langley last year. Disappointing year for the Langley Rams. They only found wins against Kamloops and Chilliwack last season, not being able to beat Westshore, Vancouver Island, or the Okanagan Sun as they look to turn things around here under Matt Blocker, and a lot of new faces into this Langley lineup. And let's start at the quarterback, the most important position here, with Duncan Little, who spent some time with the Calgary Dinos and also a couple of years under Matt Blocker in Calgary at the junior level. So a quarterback coming in Little that knows the system here for the Rams.
And that's, of course, a huge benefit to him as a brand new player. It's like he's been in this system for several years already. There's an air of familiarity there, and we'll see if it can transition into a hot start to the season, or at least in this season opener later this afternoon.
Long delay here before we get started. I'm not sure why that is, as the anthem is done, introductions are done, but put another 5 minutes up on the score clock here as a couple officials across the way discuss some things over at the Langley bench. But another player that a lot of people buzzing about here around Rams camp that has been going on for the better part of the month, 4 or 5 days a week, the Langley Rams have been getting after it. And you know these young kids, 18 to 21 years old are like wild dogs waiting to hit somebody in a different color. But the receiver, Javon Cote, who by all accounts is just a freak of nature, watching him warm up, he's bigger, he's faster, he looks stronger than everybody out on the field. And I think we're going to be talking about him and calling out his number quite a lot here this afternoon.
Well, we've got a couple members of the coaching staff up here in the booth with us, and they were very hot on that young man. Said to keep an eye out for him. I am looking forward to seeing what a number of these new players have in store for us today, as there's a good number of fresh faces in the lineup today.
And no shortage of big bodies on the Rebels side of things either. And I mentioned the Rebels, although the Vancouver Island champions from last year, 9-1 for the Rebels. They finished in first place in the regular season and are on a 9-game win streak as we speak through the regular season from last year. So going to be a tough test here for Langley right off the get-go as they start their season on their home field here at beautiful McLeod Athletic Park.
That's a kind of a good way to start, though, right? Is to try and measure yourself against the best right out the gate. I mean, I guess you might like to find your feet a little bit before you get one of these more difficult opponents, but why not test your mettle and see where you're at right at the beginning of the year?
And they will get, well, I guess you'd have to say an easier matchup next week out in Exhibition Field at Chilliwack, as they will play the Huskers next week, and it'll be a heavyweight collision next week here for Westshore as they will head up the highway to take on Okanagan. As the captain's out at center field here now for the pregame coin toss. And as always, folks, if you want to be interactive here on BCFC TV, I fully encourage that. You can find me via Twitter at PXP4 Sports. If you have anything you want to pass along our way, any tidbits or information on any of these players that you feel might be relevant, or just maybe want to let us know where you're tuned in from and we can shout out your town here.
Like you said, Jake, it is a beautiful day for football. Absolutely gorgeous out here in the township of Langley. Maybe more beach weather than football weather, but
wind going from west to east, so across the field from the West Shore side to the Langley sideline, across the field here at McLeod Athletic Park. And I mentioned it's my 6th year going into calling Rams football, and you run a full gamut of really all types of weather through the BCF season. You start in August and you finish late in October, and you can really find all types of weather throughout the season. But I swear, every time that I come here to Langley, it is just a gorgeous day. It doesn't matter what month or what time of year it is.
It's one of the more picturesque fields, I would imagine, in the league. I mean, I don't know that for sure. I haven't seen all of the...
Yeah, I mean, there's some other beautiful fields around Caledonia Park and the Sun Bowl, of course, and even Exhibition Field out in Chilliwack. You get a beautiful view out there of the mountains, as well as it looks like West Shore will kick off here to start things. As once again, we welcome you on BCFC TV, powered by Remax and Treeland Realty. And just about set to go here on a Saturday afternoon to kick off the BCFC season, I'm sure.
It'd be
Lots
hard
of eyes tuned in here on a opening kickoff game to start the season.
It'd be hard not for these players, rather, not to be fired up to start this one too, as they have just spared no expense in the game presentation.
Yes.
We had some
Flares
colored
going on.
smoke, blue and yellow smoke in the pregame presentation.
New Rams mascot down there as well, going with one beat. That's the hashtag for the Rams this season. As they got it teed up on the 45-yard line and just about set to go here for Kyle Clark and the Rebels. As it looks like Max Joseph back to receive, along with Joel Klassen, the former receiver turned defensive back here for Langley now.
And we're going to get a look at what this Langley offense has in store for us pretty soon.
If you can't hear it, First Down Joe is back for another year as we're set to go here from McLeod Athletic Park. Thanks for joining us on BCFC TV. Kyle Clark teed up from the 45, and he'll start his line forward. And he'll go with a short, high kick here. Step up on it and took a wicked hit, but made the catch.
Mason Block pulls that one in for the Rams, but doesn't go very far. Starts with great field position, though. He didn't have to go very far to get that.
Well, the important thing was just to secure the catch there for the up back, and he did a good job of that. And they'll start the line of scrimmage here on the 39 on the right hash mark as they break the huddle for the first time here in 2018. Duncan Little Well, starting the shotgun, Joe Carter behind him, single setback. And 5 receivers in there. He'll throw on first down and a rocket right there to Cote, who has a first down and a little bit more to go with it. 13 yards on the first play from scrimmage.
And we were talking just moments ago, Jake, that we were going to be saying that name quite a bit throughout the course of the afternoon. Javon Cote getting things started on the first play of the game. 13 yards, hauls that one in, and looked good doing it too.
Just about to the center stripe now at the 54-yard line on the Rams side of the field. Little starts his receivers in motion once again, takes the snap, 2-step drop, looks like a slant, and not sure if it was intended for Belanger or Luke Chalk. Overshot one and underthrew the other, and it falls incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Victor Belanger looked to be the guy in line for that one, but like you said, if that is the case, it was well short of him.
Well, we've seen this Rams team over the last number of years really kind of hang their hat on the run game. And they come out with their first 2 plays here throwing the football, and it's another throwing down here for Duncan Little. And a 2nd and 10 from the 54. 4-man front, they show blitz and jumped across the line. Free play here for the Rams, and they load up a deep ball. Looking for Cote, trying to adjust to it, and double covered out there, falls incomplete, but it'll be a 2nd and 5 as the Rams will accept this penalty. Across the midfield strip they'll go and have a 2nd and 5.
Nice range on that ball as well from Duncan Little as he was looking deep for Cote there.
Stephen Laguerre, a quarterback here for Langley last season, been turned into a defensive back as well. We mentioned Klassen. And of course, they got Kyle Claret, the reigning BCFC Rookie of the Year on the defensive side. As we'll get a look at him momentarily. Maximilian Joseph split wide to the high side of the field here. The short side is Little in the shotgun once again. Carter moves over to his right. Here comes the blitz from Westshore. It's a draw play, and that will go nowhere. As good pressure up the middle there from the Rebels to make the stop. It was number 19, Moore Williams, that got in the gap and forces a 3rd down here as the Rams will have to kick it away.
Joe Carter, the first running play of the game there. Loss of 3 yards, unfortunately. Just had nowhere to go almost immediately from the moment he had the ball. There was some great penetration from the entire defensive line on the part of Westshore, and just nowhere for Carter to go.
All right, just kidding. Where's Javon Cote, not Cote? They got some misinformation before the opening kick. As Langley lines up to kick here right from the 55-yard line. Low snap, flags come in, and kick gets away. It's a decent one down to the 25-yard line. Here comes the return. Not much of one. He might lose a couple. It's good pursuit downfield there for the Rams. Let's check the penalty flags in the Rams' backfield.
It's Dalton Dietrich with the tackle for the Rams.
Penalty will go against Langley. I think an illegal shift before the snap.
Looked like Nathan Felito who hauled that one in for the Rebels. Couldn't go very far with it.
And we'll see now if the Rebels want to force Langley to kick again. That long snap was not great. It was a pretty good handle down there. As that was Matthias Bueno, who will handle the kicking duties. They have 2 kickers in camp here for Langley, and Jaden Sheelan and Matthias Bueno.
No surprise there that they would elect to take another kick. I think anyways, as Nathan Felito got wrapped up and hauled down pretty quickly. In fact, like you said, might have suffered a loss of yards.
And not only that, but it was a shaky long snap on the opening long snap there for the punt team. So a lot of things can happen on a punt team like this, a long snap. A lot of things can go wrong for you, more than they can go right. And with no return and a shaky snap, why not line them up and make them kick it again? As they'll put triple defensive backs in there for protection. Better snap this time, and bit of a wobbler, much shorter kick. It'll bounce down at the 38. Takes a Langley bounce back to the 31. Finally picked up and swarmed up there at the 29. As again, sometimes when you have to run down that field and cover 2 kicks in a row, you can be a little bit gassed there. But early in the game, Langley no trouble with that coverage. Make the stop, limited gain as Westshore will get their first possession.
And it was Felito again who hauled that one in. And again, couldn't go very far with it. Couldn't go anywhere, in fact. Pushed back for a loss after he picked up the ball.
A couple of new linebackers on this defensive side here for Langley. You want to keep an eye out for number 34, Nathan Murray, and number 53, Dylan Cusker, who is the middle linebacker in behind the four-man front here at Langley. It's a run play right off the get-go and busting through the first wave and falling forward for a 6-yard gain. That was 21 on the carry. Khalil James on a good first down play.
Just kept those legs pumping the entire time. Good, solid gain right up the middle for James.
And they'll go up tempo here as they hustle to the line. Mason Brown, the quarterback, will empty the backfield, and he'll throw on second down. Quick hitch and completion made. Good enough for a first down as Cusker in on the tackle.
Kane Stevenson with that reception.
Needed 4, got 6. That'll move the chains here for the Rebels. First down as the ball out to the 45-yard line.
And just some quick offense for Westshore. 2 plays in a row, just bang, bang. Move those chains down the field. Not giving Langley very much time to even, catch their bearings as far as what's going on here.
They have some big bodies on that offensive line. I think that's really where it's going to make or break Langley here today, is that line of scrimmage battle. Is another good surge up through the middle.
Khalil James once more.
Picks up 5. It'll be second and 5 here for the Rebels.
And you said it, Jake. There, it's just some big beef on that offensive line for Westshore.
A couple of big receivers as well, as you look at Deshaun Greenway, one of the returners here for the Rebels. This will split out wide to the left. Folito will play the slot as they empty the backfield once again. 3-step drop, look over the middle, a bit of a floater, and that one will sail high and incomplete.
He was looking to connect there. Looked like number 10, but I don't believe we have a 10 even on our sheet here.
Yes, we do. It's Cody Holmes, who's just off to the side. You have to make that adjustment on your roster. But a good stop there for Langley on defense as they get off the field. And here comes the first punt of the day for Westshore. Max Joseph standing back at his 15-yard line. Here's the snap. It's a good one. Time for Clark, and not a good kick, though, as it'll bounce down at the 43. Stays in bounds as it rolls down to the 37. No chance for a return for Joseph, who was a very electric athlete, but didn't get a chance to get his hands on the football there. And back out comes the Rams offense here, led by Duncan Little, as they'll start the line of scrimmage from the 37.
Starting this drive from just about the exact same spot they began drive number 1.
Picked up 1 first down on their first drive as they break the huddle here once again. Aguinetto in the slot along with Cody. And Little will throw. There's Joseph with the catch. Flag comes in. Look how big hit. As Joseph just got punished as he tried to turn back and cut up. And then another late flag comes in way in the Rams' backfield. I'm not sure if there was a late hit on the quarterback. Let's watch the replay. Watch this hit coming up on Joseph right there. As he got driven forward for an extra yard. That might have got him the first down, but let's check the penalties. Roughing the passer on Westshore and interference on Langley here. So I think these penalties might offset, move the sticks, and it should be 1st and 10 here for the Rams.
That's Jamensky Mariska Lubin with that late hit.
See if we can get the call from the official. I'm not sure if we got the stripes mic'd up here this afternoon or not.
They'll call them offside and replay the down. 1st and 10.
Just a little confusion on what the actual yardage here is on the penalties. It was a roughing the passer on Westshore, which is 15 and an automatic first down. See if we can pick up the call here.
No play.
So it's a first and what do we got, Justin? About 7 yards to go here. Or do they just put it right back on the original line of scrimmage?
I think they did.
Okay, so it's 1st and 10 as the penalty's offset. No yards gained on that last play from Joseph. Man in motion. Here we go. Little to throw over the middle. Low. Belanger went down for it, and they'll say incomplete. Good
Close,
effort there,
though.
but couldn't quite get his hands underneath the football as it skipped off the turf, as you'll see our replay here on BCFC TV.
Tremendous effort from Belanger to try and get underneath that one, but as you can see a little bit there on the replay, the ball just bounces off the turf before he can wrap it up.
Stephen Laguerre will check in. He's wearing number 11 here for the Rams in blue. It's a 2nd and 10. Got to get to the 47 for a first down as they work from the left hash mark. Barking out signals here for Little. And drew the Rebels offside. I'm not sure if the Rams stayed onside and went with the hard count in. And now it's a finger pointing contest here on who this penalty will go against.
Little he said. Only the officials know for sure right now.
Well, safe full start on Langley. They came across the line. I think that was a designed hard count there from Little, but the Rams forgot about it, and Westshore did jump across the line, but not until Langley had put themselves offside.
For the Rams.
So it's now a 2nd and 15.
You got to think they are looking for the long ball on this one.
Everybody lined up. Little will roll out. Here comes pressure on the run. Fires. Joseph makes the catch. He's got a first down, then fumbled. And didn't protect the football to Joseph. He had the first down, and a late flag comes in at the end of the play as well. As Joseph had the first down, then didn't protect the football, and it got poked free.
A very impressive reception as he took that one at a bit of a tough angle. Was able to hang on to it initially, but as it gets wrapped up, he just does not have that ball under control, rather, quite the way he might like.
I think that was Desron Keir who knocked out the football or made the recovery. It was Keir that made the recovery.
Eric Williams, I believe, number 7 for Westshore.
That penalty will go against the Rebels at the end of that play. I think an sportsmanlike conduct will back them up 15 yards. So, yeah, a turnover there on the Rams, but after the gain that Joseph had, then the fumble plus the penalty, almost works out like a good punt here for Langley.
Absolutely. If that play had not worked out at all, you got to think that Westshore probably has better field position if they had taken the punt there, perhaps.
Well, taken at the 36-yard line. As they come up under center in an I formation here, look for the run out of Westshore. Lead blocker. Good slash there, but only a couple as Langley fills in the gap. Isaiah
James,
Okoli.
once again, trying to run up the middle. And that's the first time so far this afternoon that he's had no luck doing that.
Got a yard, maybe a yard and a half. That brings up a 2nd and long.
Had been averaging maybe 6 yards per carry before that.
Clock running, 8:15 here to go, first quarter. This is the opening game of the BCFC 2018 season. Thanks for joining us on BCFC TV. 2nd and let's say a long 8 here for Mason Brown and company. He'll take the shotgun snap, looks up and now wants to run for it. He gets to the 45, need to get close to the 46. I think he's going to be about a half a yard short here, depending on the spot.
Pretty early in this game to try to go for it on 3rd down. But
decision time it will be here.
When you're this close, you have to think it's tempting to try for it. At the same time, you risk handing over mighty fine field position to the Rams if you do.
So Coach Charlie Cardilicia is going to go for it here. Hopefully I don't have to roll that one off the tongue very often. And it's a first down and more here.
And then some.
Breaking free across the Rams 40-yard line. Big play there for Mason Brown on 3rd down. Just busted through that Rams defense and picked up about 25 yards.
A risky play, as we were just saying before it happened, but sometimes those big risks pay off, and that one, in a big way, that was about as big of a gain as if they had looked long down the field with a passing play.
And they go to the line quickly again, and running again is Brown, trying to find the sideline, cut down nicely there, out on the edge by Kyle Claret. After a limited game. Up a couple as they defended the run pretty well there from the Westshore quarterback.
Claret, one of the shining stars on this team last season. It was a pleasure to watch him play throughout last year.
Mentioned the Rookie of the Year in the BCFC. And what do we got here? Got to get to the 29 for a first down. Ball spotted right close, just across the 35. Play action. Here comes pressure. They get the pass off, complete to the 25, down to the 23. Ball came loose at the end of that play, but they'll say it's a Westshore first down.
Complete to Nathan Felito, and that play action fooled me, in fact, Jake. I had my eyes on Khalil James running up the middle.
Langley almost got home for the sack on that play action pass, but able to get it off and complete it to Felito was Brown and picked up the first down, 1st and 10. Now from the 24 here on the right hash mark. High formation again as Brown goes under center. And he'll hand it off to Khalil James, and he'll get nothing. Mentioned that line of scrimmage, Justin Morissette, going to be really the battle to watch here, as it often is in football. But you look at that massive offensive line for Westshore. Can Langley's defensive line hang in there all afternoon? Or will we get to quarter 3, quarter 4, and see them start to wear down after time and time again pounding the rock up the middle?
I mean, the folks at home can see it as well. There is a significant size advantage on the part of Westshore when it comes to those lines matching up.
There's an outplay, and that one just sailed over the head. And that was closer to being intercepted from Denoya than anybody. And I wasn't sure whether he thought maybe somebody was sitting in behind him and didn't want to deflect that ball. But he had the best chance to go up for that one and decided not to jump for it. But it will be a third down here in a kicking situation as we'll look for the first points of the game coming from Kyle Clark, who will tee it up here from the 28.
This should be well, I don't want to say about as easy as they come field goal wise, but they are in prime position to make this happen.
Right-footed kicker on the right hash mark. As Provo will be the holder. It's a good snap, good hold. Kick is up and through it goes. Rebels on the board first here. It's 3-0 with 4:33 to go in the first quarter.
And if you are the Langley Rams, you got to be looking up at that scoreboard and thinking could be worse, really.
I think so. I think that's probably a moral victory there for Langley to get off the field after that big third down conversion there from Brown. Got it deep into Langley territory, but Langley comes up with the stop defensively and will get the football back here on their own 35-yard line in the middle of the field.
One solid drive for the Rams here, whether it's right now or before the quarter comes to an end in the next 4.5 minutes. And we're looking at potentially a tie game or even a Langley lead.
Carter will be in the backfield as Joseph and Cody come to the near side. 3 receivers to the high side of the field as Little will throw. Quick step. He's got Aglanetto. Completion made. 6-yard gain. It'll bring up 2nd and 4.
And wrapped up almost immediately as soon as he took that one in. But able to hang on to it.
Yes, Coach Blocker, as I had a good chat with him earlier in the week about what kind of identity he wanted this team to be, and his response was balanced. He wanted to keep the defense on the toes, not knowing whether they wanted to run or to pass. Do they want to go deep? They want to go with short little balls down the field. As a flag comes in, another turnover here. Rebels think they have the football. And I think it is going to be Westshore ball here on a second turnover from the Rams.
Looked like there was an offside there as things got started. I thought that was going to go against Westshore, however.
And it is offside against Westshore, so wipe out the turnover. There's a lot of celebrating down there from the Rebels. But all for naught, as it's an offside on Westshore, and it will stay with Langley. And that will move the chains as well. They'll bring the ball out to the 41.5-yard line.
It was tough to tell, though, because, of course, Jake, on the last possession we saw with Langley having the ball, there was a flag on the play for what looked like a false start, but wound up going against the Rams instead.
Quick slant. And And about a 3-yard gain. It is tough sledding out there offensively as Joseph has taken a couple of hard hits here early in this game and takes another there on that play after making the catch for a 3-yard gain.
But they still have the ball, and that is the most important thing right now.
Well, sometimes a fumble like that early in the game, early in the season for a young kid like that can be actually a good thing because it'll help him refocus and realize that he's got to protect the football every time he gets his hands on it. There's a catch from Aglanetto. That's a first down. And a little bit more as he gets inside Westshore territory across to the 49-yard line. Aglanetto on a good reception there for about 9.
Some nice resilience shown by Nick Aglanetto on this one as well as he gets popped, but he stays on his feet. Doesn't go much further after that.
Not a big receiver by any means, but a quick one for Nick Aglanetto.
Had his feet wrapped up there by Brian McKinnon.
That's the first
of
and
the
10.
Rebels.
In between the hash marks, right on the township flag here at McLeod. Looking deep down the sideline. Cody going after it, and just a step too far for the big wide receiver. As Little put a little too much on that one, and I don't know if Cody had really opened up the gate there a little bit. Looked like he had a little more speed to give, and maybe underestimated that deep ball there from Little.
Looked like he threw on the Jets at the last second, but perhaps not quite enough.
Second and
Very
10.
close, though.
Very close. About a step and a half from being a touchdown there for Langley. Second and 10 now. Little, here comes the blitz up the middle. The Rams pick it up nicely. Staying in the pocket, fires, and through the hands. Catch that needs to be made there for Luke Chalk falls incomplete, and Langley will have to kick away.
That snap was a little bit low to begin with, though. Little had to scoop that one up and then find his bearings. If he had been able to take that one a little easier, he might have been able to get that pass away a little quicker.
Still a ball that Chalk needs to catch, but really the key to that player there, Justin, was the fact that Langley was able to pick up the blitz and give Little the time to deliver the football. Look at the speed on that plane coming into the airport. My goodness. Almost looks like a remote control plane there. But yeah, I mean, they picked up the blitz, and you got to make that play if you're Chalk. Kick will come from inside Langley territory from about the 49-yard line. Pressure comes, got it away. It's a good kick. Drives his man all the way back to the goal line. And here comes the return. They got a seam. Still on his feet and finally tripped up. Was Cody Holmes, and a flag down across the field. A couple of flags down. 3 of them, in fact.
That was the last-ditch tackle for the Rams. You got to think if Holmes had been able to break loose of that one, he might have been gone all the way down the field.
Sometimes when you get a good punt off like that from Bueno, you can outkick your coverage, and I thought that was the case. As just getting a shoestring tackle in there to take down Holmes, and he knew it as he popped back up. I can honestly say, just I don't know if our camera can get a shot. I've never seen a plane like that before.
Coming in for a landing once again.
Like, it's not quite a full-size plane, not quite like I don't know what that is. Looks like a plane a little person would fly.
Almost looks like a dogfighter you might see flying back in World War II, perhaps.
So I think the Langley offense is going to stay out on the field here as there was a late hit on
there
the quarterback.
It is. We got the plane shot now.
Yeah, well done, boys. It's going to be a big chunk of yardage marched off here for Langley. They're going to bring the football. Check it out here. Still marching ahead. All the way down to the 19-yard line. That ball was on the 49, so that's 30 yards chalked off there.
And did I hear the announcement correctly? That's a first down for the Rams? It is.
Yeah, no, they marked that. Must have been 2 personal fouls there on Westshore.
So Langley now in field goal position before this set of downs even gets started.
A massive 30-yard penalty here gained for Langley as they got a 1st and 10 from the 19. And they'll hand off to Carter. He will go nowhere. As right at the point of attack, Westshore got the surge.
Leonardo Ingram able to wrap him up and pull him down.
Maybe a little indecisive there for Carter, looking to find a hole, but I'm just not sure one was there to find. So maybe a loss of a yard on that first down carry. As we go into the final minute here of quarter number 1, it's a 2nd and 11. 2nd and 12, call it from the 21. Little puts the receivers in motion, bobbled the snap, looks for a fade into the end zone, and out of the reach of Cody. As again, he had a step on his man and Little overthrew him. Maybe a little too much adrenaline going through that gun in the right arm of Little as he overthrew Cody a couple of times on that drive. And that's always tough when your receiver gets open for you. Got to put the football on the money, and Little unable to do that a couple of times on that drive. They'll have to settle for a field goal attempt now.
He might not have had the time, however, to put the exact power he wanted on it. We talked about a play earlier in the drive, Jake, where the line did him a favor, helped him get his bearings and get that pass away. That was quite the blitz exploding on that one, and he did not have the kind of time he might have hoped for.
28-yard attempt from Bueno is good. Bueno from Bueno. Get it out of the way early, Justin. And it's 3-3. But when you got a receiver like Javon Cody, do you not just want to give your guy a chance to go up and get the football? Like, I don't think there's anyone one-on-one that is going to cover him. Throw the ball up in the air. Let him go get it. You think back to Rams teams of yesteryear and Malcolm Williams, that same type of big, tall, athletic receiver, and they just used to throw it, create a jump ball. And I think if you do that for Cody, he's going to win every time.
I think the positives here, at least in the early going, are the fact that they have, found a target that they want to look for, and they are getting him engaged early in this game. It was an issue that I saw in the games that I called last year, Jake, where the number one targets, as far as receivers go, perhaps were not being looked for until later in the game, the third quarter, perhaps.
Yeah.
They have made Cody a target early, and he's got to be feeling engaged as this one rolls along.
He'll be the featured man as they'll kick off from the 45. Good leg into this one. We'll drive it down to about the 13. Here comes the return for the Rebels. Going to pick his way through the first wave, and pretty good tackle down there. There's a number 11 for Langley. That's Stephen Laguerre as he stopped
Nathan Eldridge for the Rebels at the 26-yard line.
There's Cody Holmes on the return as he gets it out to just across the 25-yard line. As time ticking down here in quarter number one, this will be the final play of the opening 15 minutes. Well, come to the line, and it looks like Brown will go under center once again, offset in the backfield. 4 receivers in, draw play up the middle, and knocked down after about a 3-yard gain, which brings quarter number one action to a close. Two teams will flip around here at McLeod Athletic Park for quarter number 2. Thanks for joining us once again on BCFC TV, powered by Remax and Treeland Realty. It's Jake Elliott, Justin Moore, sent with you for another season of Langley Rams football. And 3-3. And a pretty evenly played opening quarter here to start the season.
We were talking before the game began, Jake, that this is about as good a test as any right out of the gate here in the season for the Langley Rams against a team that was pretty dominant throughout the course of the season last year. And I think if you were trying to measure yourself against the best in the early part of this game anyways, you got to think Langley's feeling pretty good about themselves walking away from that first quarter tied 3-3. Could have been worse for them in spots, could have been better for them in spots as well. But that's what happens when it's a pretty evenly played game.
Yeah, I'd say maybe a couple of missed opportunities for Langley in that opening quarter, especially to Cody. And a couple of deep balls, but some good signs defensively. And I think one thing Langley would like to do here in this second quarter is establish the run a little bit better, as they didn't get much along the ground. As we'll get you those halftime stats from my man Patrick, who's back for another season here, taking statistics at the Rams games.
Really only looked at Joe Carter about 3 or 4 times maybe in that opening quarter.
There's no more Nathan Lund, as we got a flag coming in the area of holding. I mentioned to start this one off, these guys have been at training camp practicing 4 or 5 times a week for the better part of the last month. and you know they're just itching and scratching to put a hat on somebody else wearing a different colored jersey. And pretty predictable that we're going to see a ton of penalties in this opening game. That's just the nature of junior football, especially when these guys are so eager to get out there and hit somebody or make a play, whatever the case is. You're going to find a lot of penalties in this opening game, I would think, and that's really been the case here through the first quarter.
Absolutely, a lot of flags going both ways in that first quarter, and the second quarter, in the first 12 seconds anyways, no different. No, those worked both ways, like we said. Langley certainly benefited from some late flags towards the end of that
30-yard
first
penalty
quarter.
Really put them in scoring position. As they decline that holding call, it'll be a second down. I was a little surprised they declined that. It was a short gain for Westshore, but could have backed him up 10 and maybe played a little field position here, but Coach Plucker declines that and brings up a second down here and about 7 yards to go as timeout down on the field. Don't forget, if you want to be interactive during the broadcast here today from a beautiful Saturday from McLeod Athletic Park on BCFC TV, powered by Treeland Remax Realty. You can find me via Twitter at PXP4 Sports, and that actually brings up a third down here, Justin Moore said. Excuse me, and that's why the penalty was declined. And now they will have to kick away here as Max Joseph stands back at his 47-yard line.
So Westshore picks up about 3 yards total on this possession.
And here comes pressure. Kick gets away. It's a high spiraling kick towards the Rebels sideline. Joseph brings it in, tries to dance a man up the sideline, still with it, and then wrapped up.
There is a flag down, however, about as soon as he pulled that one in. One of the officials flashed some orange on the field.
Isaiah Okole's got to be careful as he was very close to a taunting call after that play.
Some nice moves from Max Joseph, though.
I'll tell you what, this kid, I've seen lacrosse, obviously my background sport, Justin, and Max Joseph has played some lacrosse in his day as well, and to watch him out on a lacrosse floor being able to juke around guys, you just had a feeling that he was going to be made for the sport of football. I had no idea that he played, but now that I see him out on the football field, I know why. He is an electric athlete that can really cut on a dime and made about 3 guys miss in a phone booth there along the sideline before picking up about 8 yards.
Yeah, he had almost no room to work with, but still able to show some flashy dance moves. And
there's really a relationship on this Rams team. You think Drew Belgrave, an excellent lacrosse player as well. Nick Aguilanetto, another standout junior A player for the Port Coquitlam Saints as well. So few lacrosse connections on this Rams team. Tommy Robertson, the former quarterback as well out of New West.
I think you see that a lot these days, though, in terms of multi-sport athletes, and that being stressed a lot with guys who are particularly strong at one sport. Coaches and trainers want them to kind of diversify and keep and I like their fitness up during the off seasons.
I think it's the right move to train in a bunch of different sports until you really want to focus in on one in particular.
Lacrosse might be a little less common, though, for multi-sport athletes.
Yes, it's you know, you run the risk of some injury. Let's just say that. As Javon Cody is going to check out here. As big number 15 comes off the field. In comes
Tato Ferrero.
Putting him on the all-name list.
Oh, yeah.
Early candidate. Here comes the snap to Little. Here comes pressure up the middle. Completion. That will be short as he had to get rid of the football quickly.
Alex France takes that one in for the Rams.
He will be short of the first down, but right in that zone here, Justin Morissette. Do you kick? Do you go for it? Do you punt? Do you go for a field goal? What do you want to do here from the 35-yard line?
Oh, it's tough. It might be a long kick if you're looking field goal, but it's almost too short to punt.
Exactly. Your long field goal, short punt, or do you go for it on a 3rd and 5 here? And Alex France going to take a knee here, and I think this might give an opportunity to maybe the coach Snoop here on what he wants to do. Give him a little more time to make a decision. If I don't know, 3-3, you're on the 35, second quarter. I might roll the dice here and just go for it on the 3rd and 5. Worst you're going to do is turn the ball over at the 35-yard line, which is not awesome field position, but it's not bad field position to give up either.
At the same time, it's early in the season, and I believe it's a new kicking crew this year as well.
Put a little trust in your offense and maybe dial something up.
You might like to see what your field goal team can do early in the season here as well. Test the range on them. Oh, it is a bit far.
You think of the longtime kicker here, and Steve Thomas, and I'm drawing a blank on last year's kicker who was just exceptional. And I'll come up with his name momentarily, but Langley has been real spoiled in the Keegan Doherty? Does that sound familiar?
That sounds about right.
Just been real spoiled in the kicking game here for Langley over the last 4, 5, 6 years.
They're going to go for it, though.
They are. Here's the call. No, they're going
to punt it instead.
They're going to punt. A little pooch punt coming. It'll bounce down at the 10, takes a dead drop there, and a flag coming.
There was
on the near second flag comes in.
Roughness along the sidelines. James Spencer for the Rams getting tied up with Eric Williams of the Rebels. Those two guys took each other to the outside and started shoving basically behind the play.
Let's see what this call. This could go against either team here, really. 2 flags down. As they spot the ball down on the 19-yard line now and then huddle up here to the officials.
See if any of our replay angles caught a glimpse of that little shoving display on the sidelines.
Let's watch them get up here. It's just off to your left of your screen, and I don't think we'll pick it up. As how hot do you think one beat has to be down in that Rams mascot uniform? Huh? Not exactly comfortable weather to be wearing that around. But it will be nice come September, October, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Stay mighty warm underneath that ram's head, I can assure you. I've done some mascot work in my day.
Is that so?
I was working for JRFM. I am a former cash cow.
Wow. The things you learn.
And I tell you, it is not a fun time wearing that suit in the sunshine.
Oh, my goodness. Look at the size of number 99 on the near sideline here for Westshore.
There are a couple of enormous fellows on the Westshore side. 62 as well. Dean Blackburn, just enormous. So you know what? There's some big boys on the Langley side as well.
There is. And this ball will be backed up inside the 5-yard line here. What do we got? No, it's on the 9, I believe. We'll start the line of scrimmage. So that's a 10-yard penalty against Westshore that backs them up near the shadows of their own goal line as Brown is going to go down as he almost escaped pressure and then just kind of got tripped up and fell down.
The turf took him in. Just lost his footing.
That was Sky King making the play, who was the Rookie of the Year in the Ontario Conference a year ago.
They're calling that one a sack.
Yeah, it was. And Coach Metblocker, really like any other year here in Langley, went right across the country on a recruiting trip and found players from right across Canada to come play football here in Langley. It's a loss of about 5. So 2nd and long, time in the pocket. Now flushed out, loads up, fires into traffic. It's caught somehow. And that'll be good for a first down out across the 36-yard line. What a rocket there from Brown.
Nathan Felito hauling that one in.
Just put it over an outstretched arm of a Ram defender and dropped it into the hands of Felito for the biggest play of the game here and gets Westshore out of the shadows of their own end zone here as Brown just bought some time and throwing back across his body delivered a beautiful football to Felito. What do we got here?
Looks like we've got another Ram taking a knee, and that's Sky King, who was credited with that sack moments ago.
Walk off under his own power. Ball out to the, let's say, just shy of the 35. As that was close to a 33-yard gain there. As I see the ball is staying on Matheson down on the track here at McLeod. You're not going to lose anybody in the dark in these new yellow Rams jerseys they got working here. I'd love to see the Rams come up with a yellow kit for their uniforms too. That would be something to behold.
Gold.
Excuse me, gold, not yellow. I should know better, being a Coquitlam-Adnac, and that being gold as well. And off up the middle, goes for about 3. Blue and gold, Justin Morissette, don't forget it.
I never could. It's the colors of my high school alma mater, in fact.
Okay.
Handsworth Royals.
Ah, yes. Speaking of high school, I'll be back for another season of the high school game of the week. If you enjoy football and you want to watch a little high school football, you can check out the game of the week. That starts in early September. A gain of about 3. Clock running here down to 11:20. And an empty backfield for Brown, who delivers to the near sideline. Completion made. And good enough for a first down there.
Deshaun Greenaway.
His first catch of the afternoon, as he'll pick up about 7. That'll move the chains. Before he steps out of bounds. As really, so far watching this game here, Justin, that's been a bit of an issue here for Langley. He's getting pressure in the backfield here for Westshore and making Brown make decisions a little bit quicker. A little too much time back in the pocket there for him to deliver the football.
Not a lot of sustained momentum so far either. They come up with some big plays, but then can't quite follow up.
Ball out to the 47. Call it the 48. As they look for a running play here. And it's a good one as James with a 12-yard gain. Late flag comes in, however. And it comes in around the 46-yard line of Langley.
That might be a gain closer to 15 when it's all said and done for Khalil James.
He looks to be a weapon here for the Rebels early in this game, as they haven't really had an answer for Khalil James yet.
But you look at the way the Rebels are backing up, you got to think this flag might be going against them.
In fact, it is. Now redo first down here for Westshore off the holding call.
The chains are still moving.
One chain moved. The other one was firmly planted, and
one of the stick boys nearly took his own head off there.
Wasn't going anywhere. Got to get to the 48 here for a first down. Here comes pressure from Langley. Sacked in the backfield. That's Dalton Dietrich.
And like I said just moments ago, Jake, they got to follow this up with another big play. I know it's easier said than done, but just some sustained pressure. Get some momentum going.
One of the returners on this Langley defensive side in Dalton Dietrich. Number 97. And now ball back to the 45-yard line. So they need about 19 yards here for a first down.
The officials just did them a big favor in wiping out that big running gain. You come up with a huge defensive stop. You need to take advantage.
Let's see what they can do.
See what they can do here.
Here comes motion, and Brown, empty backfield, loads up, fires down the sideline, and it's incomplete. As ball delivered just a little wide on that Rams sideline, and Langley will get off the field here, and I almost feel like Westshore kind of dominating this football game, Justin, but they keep shooting themselves in the foot with penalty calls, which has kept Langley right in this thing, 3-3.
You got to feel pretty good right now if you're the Rams, especially after probably those last 4 downs in a row there. That run, not exactly what you were hoping for from Khalil James, but everything else that's happened in the last little bit here looking good for the Rams.
Joseph, the lone return man, high snap, brought down by Clark, and a bit of a dead duck kick there as it digs into the 45-yard line and takes a right turn out of bounds. Says didn't really drop that one onto the foot properly there to Clark, but did well just to bring down the high snap and get the kick away. So good field position here for Langley, trying to take the lead in this one with 9:11 to go in this opening half. It's Jake Elliott, Justin Morissette with you on BCFC TV, powered by Remax and Treeland Realty here in Langley.
Now Langley able to string some good defensive plays together there. They need the offense to start clicking now too, as 3 points up on the board, but it's not entirely unfair, Jake, to say that they owe those points to the officials. As they were helped way down the field.
Throws it up for grabs, and it's out of the reach of both Joseph and Womack, who is in on coverage, as Little took a shot right at the end of that play as he tried to hang in the pocket as long as possible, but took a shot as he delivered the football incomplete.
Penalties negated a punt and then handed them 30 yards, which helped them get that field goal. Not a lot of sustained momentum on the offensive side now. The defense has done a good job to get you here. Time to reward them.
Yeah, they've only ran the ball a couple of times for, I want to say, about 3 yards here so far. And look for another throw here on a 2nd and 10. Got to get to the midfield stripe. Little. Pressure comes. Screenplay set up, and it's a beautiful call here from Blocker. Trying to get to the sideline. Good cut across the 55-50 and driven out of bounds down to the 46-yard line. Excellent play call there from Snoop as it picks up a first down courtesy of Brett Westhead.
Brett Westhead making a couple of fantastic reads to pick up that first down as well. We'll see it again on the replay here, as first of all, Little with some great patience to get that ball away, and then Westhead knew what he was doing and was able to keep that one going for maybe 7 extra yards after it looked like he might get hauled up early.
1st and 10 here for Langley from the 46 right hash. Westhead still in there as Little. Here comes pressure, and Westshore way across the line. And I was about to say on that 2nd down and long, we've seen Westshore load up the blitz every time that Langley has gotten in 2nd and long. In that screenplay over the middle, the perfect call for a blitz up the middle, and that's what Blocker called, and you saw it go for a big gain.
And to this point, they've mostly been looking for the long ball. Little has been looking to hook up with Cody, and of course, you can't fault them for that, but perhaps the shorter gain up the middle,
well, dink and dump.
a little easier to make happen.
2nd and 5 off the offside call on Westshore as they take another penalty. Here's Little. No pressure coming this time. Fire a strike right on. Caught by Belanger. He'll spin out of one tackle and down to close to the 21-yard line. Langley on the move here just outside the green zone.
And that might be the most time and space that Duncan Little has had to work with all afternoon to this point. No pressure whatsoever. He had all the time in the world to make his reads, pick his receiver, and he connects with Victor Belanger for a big first down.
Well, that's just it. You back them off with that screenplay, then they get a little timid to dial up the blitz again, and then you call the right play for no blitz. So a little chess match going on here. Might be offsides on Westshore again. Joseph makes it a fantastic catch out on the far sideline. Dives for the stick as he gets out of bounds, and now let's check the laundry once again. I think the Rebels jumped offside once again, but
this one might be against the Rams, though. It looked to me like the receivers in motion jumped the gun perhaps a little bit here, Jake, but
let's see.
We will see.
And if it is against Westshore, look for Langley to decline, and it is against the Rebels, as I think Joseph got the first down. They have the spot just shy, so if they accept it, it'll be an automatic first down, so he might as well. As I thought he had gotten the first down, but it looks like he's spotted down just shy of it.
2nd and inches, perhaps, if that is the case.
Well, he has declined.
So we'll take the yards gain and bring him 2nd and a yard from the 11.
Say 2nd and a yard, but it's not even quite a yard. Let's look at the short yardage offense here for the first time. As Langley knocking on the door here, trying to get into the end zone for the first time today.
And like we've said a few times, the run game really hasn't been there so far for the Rams.
Snap, and Little up the middle easily surges ahead for a couple as they went with the quick count. And that's the way you run short yardage. Don't give that defensive unit any time to get ready. Just get up to the line, snap the football, plow ahead, and first down Langley is. Coach on the Westshore side out onto the field, not happy.
Gesticulating wildly. But that's how you do it. Like you said, Little didn't even give them the time to, make a handoff there. He just called his own number.
Here we go from the 5-yard line.
And immediately a first down for the Rams.
It's a 1st and goal now for Little and Langley. From the left hash mark as they start motion. Again, Westshore jumping. And Little just really working that hard count, Justin. And Westshore so anxious to get pressure on the Langley quarterback, they cannot there's 3-4 guys jumping offside every time. It's not just one guy here. And they're going to have to rectify that situation.
As the Rebels.
Little, he must have a great hard count, but he's doing it every time, and it's working every time.
They look like they're coming unglued a little bit here. A lack of discipline is costing them.
Half the distance to the goal line, so spun it down on the 3-yard line now, and it's still a 1st and goal from the left hash.
Langley would still be in fine scoring position even without the help of these flags, but the Rebels still not doing themselves any favors.
One-on-one coverage on the short, high side of the field with Cody. Watch out up top. It's a handoff instead. And nothing there on that play. Lost a couple, and Langley, running back, hurt.
Brett Westad is just dragging himself over to the sidelines.
He got buried there by about 3 Rebels out on the edge.
His left leg looking in rough shape at the moment.
He tried to literally drag himself off the field. Didn't get there. And the ball spotted down on the 5 as they lost a couple there.
And you hate to see this, of course, for any player, but especially a player who was fundamental in getting this team the field position they enjoy right now. One of the big plays of this drive, Brett Wested running to the right side on that short pass over the middle.
Yep. And still being attended to on the far side as you get another look at one of the local aircrafts coming into Langley Airport. And a setting like no other here in the BCFC. And that's one thing with Langley choosing the far side of the field here at McLeod. Anytime you have an injury, you're on the far side of the field, so you got to get back across to get to your locker room here, and maybe a bit of a disadvantage. Maybe get like a golf cart going something here at McLeod and be able to wheel him around a little bit. You see a player down in below the end zone here, already wearing a sling, and it looks like he's in uniform as well. I can't quite pick up the number, but he's walking around the outside of the track here coming from the Langley sideline, and it looks like his afternoon is surely over.
See if we can get a better look as they get a little closer to our booth here.
So Westad still down.
That's number 9, Alex France. We saw him leave the game earlier.
Down on a knee.
Again, right after he'd made a big play on a reception as well. So you cannot say that these Rams are not paying the price to make the play.
Westad, who's been down for a while here on that far sideline, around the 6-yard line.
Just the way he was moving, that left leg did not look good to me at all. And I hate to speculate, but you saw him just trying to drag himself off the field.
It's a physical sport.
One leg almost entirely limp as he was dragging himself to the sidelines.
I don't know how he's going to get to the locker room. He's going to have to be carried there. As he's right on the sideline. He's not quite off the field here. And obviously you cannot start playing with an injured player in that position.
And a tough time for this to happen as well, as it seemed like momentum was finally rolling in favor of the Rams.
There's Alex France, who has got his right arm slinged up. Immobilize that shoulder. Again, a couple of Rams over there to Westad to maybe try and help him get off the field, but I think there's some real concern here, Justin Morissette, on that left leg of Westad. They don't want to move it too much, and I think a fairly serious injury here to start the season for Westad, which is a real shame.
As both teams now heading to their respective sidelines, as this might take a while.
So why don't we do this? We will take a break here on BCFC TV and come back with a big 2nd and goal coming up from the 5-yard line in just a couple of minutes. You got it here on BCFC TV, powered by Remax and Treeland Realty. Justin, go to break quickly, and we're set to go here once again. Let's get your reset. It's 3-3 between the Rebels and the Rams here. Rams knocking on the end zone. It's a 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line with 6:17 to go here to halftime.
If you're the Rebels, though, that's almost a perfect time for a timeout situation like that. as they looked like they were just coming unglued, tempers flaring all over the place.
There we go. Little pressure comes. It's a fade into the end zone and too high for Cody as again Little overthrows his big wide receiver. This time in the end zone as it falls incomplete, and it's a kicking situation here, 3rd and 5. Third and goal from the 5.
Difficult to have to settle for a field goal in this situation, Jake, because they are so close, just knocking on the door.
Yeah, I think just, for me, that's a bit of a reluctant call there. Like, yeah, I like the idea of going with a bit of a fade to Cody, but do it in the back of the end zone or do it in the middle of the end zone. Give him a chance to make a play. That one was using the sideline almost like an extra defender there and just ran out of real estate, unable to make the play. Here comes the field goal attempt and drive it right through the uprights. Nicely done there from Bueno. And puts Langley in front 6-3.
As Bueno is good. Once again.
All right, we're 1-1.
Yes.
Now, so far with the Bueno Pies.
39 as he's Bueno with the field goal. Rams up 6.
But a fine showing all along that drive from the Rams offense, who really got going for the first time in this game. I mentioned earlier in the drive they were assisted quite a bit in the first quarter on the points they got from a couple of big penalties that moved them 30 yards down the field and negated a punt as well. So they'd initially kicked the ball away.
It was a long drive as well, chewing up quite a bit of time off the clock.
This time, of course, as we mentioned, Jake, there were some flags along the way, as tempers are certainly flaring in this game. But, it's not like it handed them the field position they got. It certainly supplemented it, but they did the work themselves. The offense has a lot to be proud of on that drive.
Let's check the kick team here. They'll look to get downfield and cover. As we're under 6 minutes to go, here comes Bueno with a right-legged pound down to the 14-yard line.
Now it's pulled in by Cody Holmes.
Holmes on the return and wrapped up at the 31. Good open field tackle there from number 32.
Winston Leger.
Well, I have Vincent Mohammed listed down. All right, Nathan Lenz, old number 32.
Depends what list you look at.
Yeah,
I'm going to defer to you.
Go with the official. It's always a smart bet. 6-3 Langley. Westshore offense back out onto the field. As they'll break the huddle here and start from the 36-yard line in their own zone. 5 receivers in there, 1 running back. He'll step up in protection. Here's Brown looking. All sorts of time in the pocket. Now gets flushed out. Here comes a flag. That'll be a hold as Cusker goes after the quarterback and brings him down after a 6-yard gain. But this one will come back. As sometimes when you get that good of protection, there's a reason for it. And that's because there was a holding call on Westshore.
That's some of the better pressure in the pocket we've seen from Langley so far this afternoon as well. So their game really coming along as this one rolls along. Clicking defensively and offensively at the moment.
Oh man, I can just imagine what the conversation is going to be like for Cardelicia at halftime as I wait to see the stats, but the penalty yardage is got to be astronomical here in the first half for Westshore. They have taken a ton of penalties. Here comes another play. It's first and long. Brown with a sidestep. Beautiful move to get away. Still on his feet. He's got some room to gallop here across the 30. Makes a cut out to the 34, close to the 35. Will be short of the first down as he needs to get to the 41, but avoided a sack and then made up a good chunk of yardage with his legs. Did the Rebel quarterback.
That's good pressure in the pocket once again, even though the running quarterback gets a good deal of yardage there. Mason Brown able to evade a number of tackles along the way. But this is a guy who had all kinds of time and space to work with on some of these Westshore drives earlier in the game. The fact that he's even scrambling at all right now has to be a good sign for the Rams.
Yeah, they're going to have to. I don't think they can hang their hat on that all afternoon here. They're going to have to find a way to get some pressure into the backfield on Brent. Because if they let him sit back and survey the field like that, he's going to find targets or he's going to bust down to the pocket and make plays with his legs like he did there. But, you know, it's a risk reward. If you want to bring an extra body on the blitz, you're going to leave somebody either open or in one-on-one coverage, and that's a dangerous game to play. But maybe Coach Blocker just trusting his defensive backs to be able to hold in coverage for a long period of time until their defensive line can get home.
And you make a good point there, Jake. You do have to think that things are going to start to go right for this Rebels offense at some point this afternoon. So if you are the Langley Rams, it is not enough to be settling for field goals right now. You do want to walk away with some real point separation for the strong showings you've been putting up.
And I don't think you can just expect them to take penalty after penalty all afternoon either. But it's a second and about 4 here for Westshore. Here comes the snap. Brown stands in the pocket, gets flushed up in it, now fires and delivers a strike right at midfield, ripped down. Looked like a horse collar tackle, might have got away with that, but it's
Cody Holmes.
It's another first down. Was it 80 or was it 10? I think it was Nathan Felito that made the reception.
You might be right about that, actually.
So showing number 10 right now, but I'm pretty sure that was 80 on the catch. And they got it inside Rams territory with the clock running here, 4:15 to go. 1st and 10 Westshore. Cut block, here's pressure off the edge, and a drop in the slot there is, man, Dean Stevenson just had one right in his numbers and let it hit the turf.
And Kyle Claret just hammered the quarterback on that one as well. After the ball got away, Mason Brown took a tumble.
Claret came off the edge on the blind side, and I don't think Brown had any idea 21 was into the backfield quickly. And it brings up a 2nd and 10 here from the 54 of Langley. And a big play here for the Rams defense. 5 receivers in. Here's Brown to throw, looks to his left, loads up a deep ball on the out pattern, and they're going to say that's a catch, and I'm not so sure.
That one is for sure, however. Nathan Felito, number 80, with the big grab there.
Let's watch the replay, and let's watch the feet here of Felito.
It is close.
Just has to get one down, and maybe he did, but let's see if our camera angle picks it up. Definitely made the catch, but let's watch the footwork here from Felito, and I don't know. I do not know if that was a catch or not, but it doesn't matter what I think. It's a 1st and 10 here for the Rebels.
And they suddenly find themselves in excellent field position.
Here comes pressure. Spinning out was Brown. How did he get away from that? Pointing downfield. He's across the line of scrimmage now. Can't throw. Still running, and he's got a 1st down. 12-yard gain for Brown, who somehow escapes danger and then picks up 12.
And that has been the story of this drive for the Rebels, and particularly for the Langley defense. Great pressure on the quarterback, but the pressure not quite enough. They need to be really finishing him off here, as he's had the space to sneak out of the pocket and run the ball himself. Done that more than a few times on this drive, and it's given his team excellent field position.
Well, that was maybe the one time that they got pressure into the backfield and they could not wrap up the quarterback. Ball down to the 15-yard line. It's a 1st and 10 from the right hash mark as the Rebels break the huddle here, walking up to the line, I formation, as they'll look for Khalil James here, the deep back, and they'll hand off to him up the middle, and he breaks through for about a 4-yard gain. Down to close to the 10-yard line. They'll bring up 2nd and 5. And anytime that they line up under center with an eye back there, they're pretty much exclusively going to Khalil James.
This game really turned, however, in that injury timeout with Brett Wested down on the sidelines. It looked like it was all Langley at that point. Westshore just out of sorts in a number of ways in terms of discipline, but they certainly seem refocused since that stoppage.
Play of the half so hard here. 2nd and 5 for Westshore, deep into Rams territory on the 10-yard line. Langley trying to get off the field here with a stop. Brown in the shotgun, and Cusker and the Rams want to call timeout, as they did not like the look of that Westshore lineup offensively and thought there was a mismatch there, and Cusker calls timeout to maybe save a touchdown here for Langley. don't mind that. Defensive captain. It's just a linebacker that's obviously done his homework and saw something he didn't like and calls timeout.
This is, as you said, the play of the game to this point. As if they can make a stop here, this game you got to think will be tied heading into the.
Still time. 2:39 to go to halftime. Maybe time for one more Rams drive.
True. Either way, neither team with a touchdown to this point in the game, and if you're Langley, you do want to keep it that way.
That's a little surprising to me at this point that neither team has found the end zone yet.
Come close, both sides, a few times in fact.
Let's see. Here we go.
Second down.
As they'll line it up from the 10. Got to get to inside the 5 for a first down. As they load up here on the wide side, near side, rolling out Brown. Here comes a flag, lobbed up into the end zone. And incomplete, out of bounds. Let's check the flag. Back at the 15-yard line.
Pardab Sandhu was the guy who was into the backfield for Langley there. Looked a little shaken up at the end of that play, but he's back on his feet. Looks no worse for wear in the end.
Actually, 2 flags down on the field, one at the 6. The official will make the call here. And absolute holding will be the call. This is going to bat them up. But a Langley penalty as well. And I think it becomes a first down from the 10 here. 1st and 5. Okay, it's second down, not first down. So penalties offset. 2nd and 5 from the 10. And just a penalty-filled first half here from McLeod.
For both sides.
Yeah, really. Langley ready on defense. Here come the Westshore Rebels offense as they'll come up to the line of scrimmage. Single sent back, Khalil James in the backfield. 3 receivers to the near wide side. It'll be a handoff to James, the cut, and finds the end zone easily untouched as he walks it in. And the Rebels find Pater for the first major of the afternoon.
James has had a strong outing so far.
It's just good execution, good blocking up front by that offensive line, and then the cutback from James, and I'm not sure anybody touched him.
Get another look at it here on the replay. He takes the handoff and just finds an open seam.
Big gap there.
Couple of guys dived to grab him, but I don't think anybody got a finger on him the whole way to the end zone, as you said, Jake.
Clark comes out for the extra point from the 12-yard line. And up to 3. It's good, and now a 4-point lead here for the Rebels at 10-6 with 2:27 to go to recess as Langley will get the football back at their own 35-yard line.
And that is plenty of time for the Rams to retake the lead here or at least add a field goal. So this is just a 1-point game as we head into the half.
Looks like they'll kick this one off in the 45. Yeah, look at the size of 62. He has got to be, what, 350, 360 down there? That's no joke, man. Wow.
Enormous.
Really? Can we get a shot of 62 on the West Shore sideline when we get a chance?
There are a couple of guys on that West Shore side. You mentioned 99 earlier as well. Jamensky Mariska Lubin. He is just a big boy as well.
Behemoth. All right, here comes the kickoff from the 45-yard line. Clark pooches one again. It's angling towards the sideline. Rams will bring it in and get buried at the 32-yard line. And that's an effective kick there from Clark. I mean, you got to make a good play there, did Ferrero. Just to catch that, knowing that the pressure is you're going to get smoked. But it's also, that's a live football if West Shore can come down with it. So it's a real effective kick kind of in that soft little zone. It's not a deep kick. It's not like onside length either. It's kind of right in the middle of it. And Langley better be aware that all afternoon here, they better put the hands guys in that kind of second wave. So from the 33-yard line now, right hash mark for Little.
2:24 on the clock, left in the half.
A 2-minute drill here, and again they get him to jump offside. This is a free play. Little over the middle, completion made. Out to the 48-yard line, good gain there, give him 14. And they'll decline the penalty, I'm sure, as again Little with that hard count got the Rebels to jump offside.
Victor Belanger able to pull that one in. And had a couple yards in the carry afterwards as well, before he's hauled down.
I think maybe a second flag across the way on the sideline.
Brian McKinnon had the tackle for the Rebels.
Joe lets you know it's the first down out to the 49. That'll move the sticks down to 2:19 here to go in the half.
And just 5 seconds off the clock on that play as well.
That's an effective first down call. Spot the football down right in the middle of the hash marks here. Rebels with 5 on the line here, showing pressure. Little turns, fires, and tipped and incomplete. Aglanetto.
Maybe a little too quick on the release there if you are Duncan Little. I don't know that he knew how much time he had.
It's a real timing play there, I think, and I'm not sure if Aglanetto got turned around quick enough or maybe ran his route a little too deep, but one of those ones where you know the football's coming probably before you even turn around, and you just have to expect it to be there when you do. 2nd and 10. Gonna get to the Rebel 51 for a first down. And in motion, that's Schultz. Little with time over the middle, and almost intercepted, but now we're going to get a roughing the passer call. As into the backfield was Keenan Gross and hit Little after throwing the ball, and that's an easy 15 yards and an automatic first down here for Langley, as again Westshore bails out the Rams offense with a penalty call.
He is in disbelief at that call as well. In fact, I think that's number 19, Jake, Jameel Moore-Williams.
Yep, you could be right.
Had his arms out at the referee the entire time that one's being walked back. Just disbelief. But it is a big call that will move the chains way down the field for Langley.
Ball down to the 46-yard line of Westshore now with just over 2 minutes to go here in the half. Lots of time to get some points here. Little steps up in the pocket, look out, pressure comes, and he's dropped back at the 50.
Swarmed by 5 guys in red jerseys, looks like.
Yeah, I think Duncan Little wisely hung on to that football. He thought about letting it go over the middle late, and that's never a good idea, and always tough to take a sack, but probably the right decision there to Little, as he wasn't going to get that to the sideline, and you just don't want to throw the football up for grabs because you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, you lose 5 yards, but you hang on to possession of the ball. And now I think we got a timeout here for the Rebels, maybe. Or a timeout for the Rams. One of the two, as we're under 2 minutes to go here to halftime.
2nd and 14.
This might leave Westshore with some time here if Langley can't convert on this 2nd and long.
As the Rams have done a very good job of managing the clock so far on this drive, but that clock management may come back to haunt them here.
Canadian rules football is just such a different animal as far as how much time it takes. You can, in the final 3 minutes, you can get 2 possessions each for both teams. There's a fantastic crowd on hand here for the home opener for Langley. Grandstands are full. And they got it all going here in Langley. New merchandise, the barbecue's fired up. Trader Brewery serving the drinks. And no better spot to come out and watch some junior football than right here on the Cloud Athletic Park.
Watch the planes come down as well.
We might have to have our yearly talk with our assistant coaches here, Justin.
Got some hot mics.
Hot mics.
Hot mics.
Earmuffs. 2nd and 14 from the 50-yard line. As Little in the shotgun as he has been all afternoon. Motion. Here comes pressure off the edge. Little going to roll away from it on the run. Fires, delivers a strike. And I'm not sure it's going to be enough.
They're going to be short probably 2.5 yards here, Jay.
Decision time once again here for Coach Snoop. As the ball will be spotted on the 36. They punted away last time. I think they might hang on and then go for it this time. As they got about a 3rd and 2 here, and they will keep the offense on the field.
It was about a 5-yard gap that they were looking at last time they decided to punt. So a little easier call to make. Well, yeah, this is actually a lot closer than we thought. This is less than a yard the way this ball's been spotted.
Little will start in the shotgun. Carter will move up in protection, trying to drive the Rebels offside. They don't get it, but they deliver a strike to Joseph. Stiff arms him in, dives ahead out of bounds. Will stop the clock. And that's a first down for Langley as a flag comes in late. And coaching staff here at Westshore better get a handle on their players here. It's just penalty after penalty after penalty.
That's an 8-yard gain for Max Joseph. And we'll see how many extra yards that flag adds onto it as well.
You can see how frustrated Coach Charlie Cardilicia is, as he's just screaming at the official after that penalty call. But
unnecessary roughness being assessed against number 5 for the Rebels, Malik Womack.
I mean, play's over. Penalty's been made. He's not going to change his mind now.
And suddenly, the Rams are in fine scoring position here.
1:40 to go. Ball down to the 13-yard line. Here's Little over the middle, and I think that hit the upright, or the crossbar, if you will, as a pass over the middle. And maybe getting a hand on it was the Rebel defender, but I think that hit the crossbar and falls down, which is a dead ball.
Jason Piper, I think that might have been his hand that knocked it out of the air. We'll see if we can catch a replay here.
Spot the ball back down to the 13-yard line. We'll get a 2nd and 10. Rams want to go quickly here. Big play. 4 receivers in, 5 check. As they got Cody in the slot here, closest. And they'll throw. And that looked like pass interference.
Eric Williams knocking that one out of the air this time.
Looked like maybe getting a handful of jersey there, but
I thought so too, Jake.
no call. And maybe the official, not quite prepared to make that call after all the penalties that have been handed Westshore's way. Let him maybe get away with one there.
Yeah, look
on Eric Williams.
On the replay as well, you can see he grabs inside position by one hand on the jersey and one hand knocking that ball out of the air, preventing Nick Agnoletto from wrapping that one up.
Field goal coming. Field goal attempt coming, I should say, with 1:32 to go. Ball on the 20-yard line and up and through for Bueno. As the Rams get back within 1 point here on the 20-yard field goal kick. As an ambulance onto the track here over at the Rams sideline. You have to believe that's for Westhead, which is really unfortunate. Opening game of the year, opening half.
He just made a huge play to help give his team excellent field position, pick up a first down and then some. And not even 2 minutes later, suffers an injury significant enough to bring an ambulance out onto the field. You hate to see it.
So 10-9 Rebels lead, and we'll get a chance here late in the half with 1:27 to go. That whole drive there, Justin, only took close to a minute for Langley to get down the field and get some points.
Not even a minute. They were at 2:24 when they took possession of that ball, so 57 seconds comes off the clock.
There's Brown on the rollout, looking downfield. Flag comes in. Took a hit at the end of that play as he delivers a strike there to Cody Holmes. Right down the sideline, delivered it beautifully. But again, I think that Westshore offensive line a little guilty. Although Khalil James pointing Langley's direction, I think this is going to be a flag against the Rams this time.
If this is a play that is not negated by that flag, it's probably the biggest pickup offensively for either side in this game so far.
Westshore coming ahead here. So clock and all the way into Langley territory.
From the 35 to about the 40, if I'm not mistaken.
Put it down on the 45-yard line. And that play only took 6 seconds, and they're inside Langley territory now. Lots of time here to try and manufacture some points late in the half. Here they come on their rollout near sideline this time. Brown looking downfield, throws it up, got a man wide open. I think another flag coming into the Rebel backfield. Langley coaching staff saying holding call, and it is against Westshore. Momentum.
So I was thinking that things looked a little bit easy there for Mason Brown, and as you said earlier in this game, Jake, sometimes when it looks too easy, there is a good reason for that.
They'll back them up to the midfield stripe here. It'll be 1st and 20 with 1:12 to go. But again, what this game is really coming down to for me, Justin Morris, that is the protection that Brown is getting in the Westshore backfield, which is allowing those big receivers, those targets downfield, a long time to run their routes, and the defensive backs for Langley just can't stay with him that long.
He's making it look easy, honestly. The time and space that he is being afforded, and that comes down again to what we've talked about a number of times throughout this game. There is just an enormous size differential on the line. That offensive line, huge, both in terms of the space they're creating for their quarterback and just the sheer size of them as well.
Looked like there could have been another holding call on Partap Sidhu there. And that went undetected. Sidhu was trying to come off the edge and looked like he got held up, and that allowed Brown to get rid of the ball as he picked up about 7. So still 13 yards to go here on a second down with 64 seconds to play. Ball is on the 48-yard line. Got to get down to the 35 of Langley for a first down. Will work from the right hash mark. We'll send Khalil James in motion as they empty the backfield. Now what do we got? Time count violation, I think. As the Rams are clapping. And I think this is going to come back 5 yards.
Inside the 3 minutes.
So they're asking Coach Blocker what he wants to do here. Can they maybe have loss it down? And they'll make it 3rd down.
That's a time clock violation that will bring out the punting team here.
Now does Langley have enough time to get back downfield here with 1:04 to go?
I mean, their entire possession on the last offensive drive was just 57 seconds, as we said, Jake. So, as you mentioned, the final 2 minutes here under Canadian rules, it can be a wild one.
They'll line up Joseph back at his 8-yard line as Clark will stand at his own 48. Guard against the fake here if you're Langley. They will kick it. It's not a good one. It'll bounce. That's a live football as it's touched. Get on top of it, and they will at the 24-yard line. There's 37 there for Langley.
Cairo Hassan
might have been better off letting that ball bounce to Joseph instead of trying to make a play himself, because he's going backwards on that football and was going to always take some time to get switched around and start heading upfield, where Joseph was coming towards the ball and could see upfield what he had ahead of him. And I just think maybe Hassan probably should have tried to find a block there and let Joseph pick up the ball.
Not a great kick, though, as you mentioned.
Oh, they're really struggling as Clark in the punt game right now. Now let's see how aggressive Langley wants to get here in the final minute. As Little will have Carter split off to his right shoulder. Here comes the motion. And 3-step drop, fires over the middle. He's got a man and caught out near the 50 at the 49.
And that's Little's biggest completion of the day so far as well.
Victor Belanger, who's been the most consistent Rams receiver so far today.
Pickup of close to 30.
And they'll hustle to the line here with the clock down to 47 seconds as they'll start it on the whistle after spawning the football. Here we go. Clock runs. Little has a look to his right. Look to his right again. Here comes the motion. Here comes the snap. Fire in the seam, and look out. That one falls incomplete. Nobody in the vicinity, really, as both receivers, you know that play got crossed up. There's two receivers right in the same area there.
Belanger tried to cut out of coverage at the last second, but it looked like the ball was way above his head regardless.
So it'll bring up a 2nd and 10 here, and again, we've only seen Langley run the football maybe twice so far here in this opening
thinking
half.
3 times maybe, but yeah, it's been a loss of yards, if not a gain of just 1, basically every time they've looked that way.
Really exclusively into the air here, and they'll look to do that here and again on a 2nd and 10. Cody in the slot, and look like the Rebels are offside again. Multiple flags come flying this time.
Just about every ref on the field let their flag fly there. And that one has to go against Westshore, you would think, despite the fact that the Rebels are pointing otherwise.
Let's see what they're going to call here. There's 3 different flags down on the field.
Their coach is pointing otherwise as well, as he's back out on the field,
Now he's up in arms.
gesticulating on the sidelines.
And now the Rebels going to go backwards here. I think it's going to be a Langley. Not sure if it's going to be an automatic first down.
But certainly puts them in good position here. A gain of 5 at the very least.
So 2nd and 5 now from the 53.
37 seconds left on the clock.
Maybe they want to put it ahead 1 more yard. Yes, they do.
Yeah, I have to think the Rams are looking to the sky on this one once again.
2nd and 5. Keep this drive alive. Here comes pressure. They set up that screen again. They got blockers out in front here for Carter. He'll bust it to the outside. Joe Carter down the sideline. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Carter, touchdown Rams! Oh, what a play call from blocker again. We got a flag down on the field. Another flag comes flying in as Cody's helmet was ripped off, and Westshore has to be able to control himself here. But how about Joe Carter Jr. down the far sideline for a 50-yard touchdown on a screenplay?
Well, we were talking earlier, Jake, about the fact that Joe Carter has not been able to get involved in the running element of this game so far. If you were going to lose another one of your backs in Brett Westhead, it was Brett Westhead who was the man on this exact play earlier in the half. This time it's Joe Carter. You get him involved in the passing game, and he puts those feet to work with one heck of a run down the left sideline. And the Rams get that touchdown they've been looking for all half long with just 22 seconds left on the clock before they head into the room at halftime.
And there's going to be some penalty yardage tacked on the kickoff. As I didn't see exactly what happened behind the play, but I think Langley's going to line up and go for 2 here now. As they'll make it 16-10 and try and make it, or no, it'll be 15-10, I believe. And they'll try and make it 17-10 here, going for a 2-point conversion. And now the Westshore bench getting into it with the crowd a little bit here in Langley. There was a skirmish behind the play as Carter was going down the far sideline. Javon Cody had his helmet yanked off and thrown in the air by a Westshore defender. So look for some yardage to be tacked on the kickoff, and they're going to pin Westshore deep here after they go for 2.
And I got to think that unless there are some significant adjustments made during the half on the Rebels side of things, that little screen pass over the middle is going to keep working.
And now the Westshore coach barking at Joe Carter Sr., our public address announcer here, who is standing along the fencing on the track, and I'm not sure what the problem is there. I don't think Westshore likes Carter being that close to their bench. But he's done nothing wrong, and we're going to get an ejection here for the Rebels.
Tyree Dunn is done for the day.
Well done, Justin Morissette.
I hope you're not tired of my...
Oh, my, just stop. And now are we going to get a Langley ejection here? No. As Andy Hanlon was starting to make his way across the field and then got escorted back. And Victoria's coaching staff continually going out onto the field here and continually being waved off the sideline by the sideline official. And they are some kind of fired up on that Westshore bench. And their team really kind of taking after their coaching staff here right now, Justin. I think they need to calm down a little bit and get refocused. Are they ejecting Javon Cody here now? Oh my.
They have to head down towards the end zone just to avoid the Westshore sideline.
That is, I'm sorry, but that is an awful call right there from the officials. Cody was the one that had his helmet yanked off and thrown into the air, and I'm not sure how he gets kicked out of this game for doing nothing. But he'll be escorted off the field here by 2 officials and reluctant to leave, obviously. And that is a real tough call against the Rams there, and I'm sure Westshore are happy about the trade-off now.
You have to think maybe he said something, but even then, it's tough to justify an ejection based on just some trash talk on the field.
I mean, he had the first catch of the game, but hasn't done much since. But what he does do is almost draws double coverage every play, which opens up other receivers. And that luxury now for Coach Blocker will be gone as his star wide receiver out of the game.
And he's already lost.
And I think they've taken the touchdown off the board here. Are they going for 2, or they just haven't put the points up yet? Okay, now they put the points up.
Touchdown points are on the board.
They will go for 2 here. Little lock going on. He'll throw to the end zone, and that looked like a flag, and it is thrown. And that will be half the distance to the goal line, and Langley will get another crack at a 2-point conversion.
Victor Belanger just dropped as he tried to make a play on that ball.
Well, for me, this is really going to be who can go into the half here and refocus and come out and play disciplined football in the second half is going to win this game.
And you can see it on the sidelines on the Langley side right now. The coaching staff walking up and down the line, trying to keep their guys in control. Calmer heads will prevail in this one. And there are just 22 seconds left in the half. You want to get back to the room without further escalation, further incident, if you will.
Tyree done for the Rebels. Javon Cody done for the Rams. Each team losing a player to an ejection. And Langley with the 15-10 lead here with 22 seconds to go in the half. Will line it up from the 1-yard line, going for 2 here, trying to make it a 7-point spread. Carter in the backfield, they'll sneak it, and he gets stacked up and driven back. And were they offside again?
I don't see the flag.
Neither team leaving the field here.
Oh, there it is on the far side.
And I think Westshore offside again here. My goodness.
That is the case.
One after the other after the other. There's literally a penalty on every single play.
Lawai number 44 for the Rebels, was coming back to the sideline, just looked in disbelief. Still got his arms out.
Remax.
Can't believe that he is not done with this one.
Remax Treeland Realty, Langley Rams football here on BCFC TV. Opening game of the season here for both these clubs. And another crack at it for a 2-point conversion from the 1-yard line. This time Maximilian Joseph into the backfield. He'll dart left, dive ahead. And no signal from the official yet as they unpile the bodies.
Looks
still waiting for a signal.
Very close.
No good, says the official. So it's a 5-point game as Joseph comes up short by inches. As after all that, the Westshore Rebels, after 3 straight attempts, hold Joseph out of the end zone, and it's a 5-point Rams lead.
And you gotta admire the Rams for going for it on the 2-point conversion again and again and again there, because it's that 2 points that will separate this score by a touchdown. Unfortunately, they do not get it.
How do they react with the ejection to Javon Cody? How does that affect the Langley offense here?
Especially after you've already lost another one of your receiving targets. and Brett Westhead earlier in the game as well.
Ambulance still across the field here, attending to him. As Langley will kick away here with 22 seconds to go to halftime.
Again, though, that scoring play, that little pass over the middle, will probably still be available to them in the second half because they are just looking at blitz after blitz after blitz. The pressure on Little has been enormous.
Short kick, ball loose, Langley's got it! Dialed up onside kick with 22 seconds to go in the half, and Langley's got the football. How about it from Coach Walker? Right when you would least expect an onside kick. That's the perfect time to call it, and it worked to perfection.
As John Cena's theme song rings out through the stadium here, safe to say the Rebels couldn't see that one.
Well, this is where you'd love to have Javon Cody, but look who's into the game here at quarterback now. Sean Lall, who's must have a huge arm here as they're going to go deep with 18 seconds to go and try and get some more points here before halftime. Massive quarterback here for Sean Lall. Stands in the pocket, gets sacked. As he just tried to wait too long to deliver, and the Westshore Rebels had all sorts of penetration into the Rams' backfield.
Sean Lall gets another try here, though, assuming they can get this one going before time expires. 12 seconds on the clock, and the clock has stopped for the time being.
Sean Lall, 6'5", 240, out of Abbotsford, British Columbia. Quarterback, 6'5", 240, Justin Morissette.
That's not every day you see one of those.
Here we go. Final play of the opening half. Lall,
he's
hit hard.
Lost his helmet on that hit.
He's okay as he gets up. Ball incomplete, and that'll bring us to halftime.
He was looking deep and just had his power cut right out of him as he took that hit. Still got the ball away, but nowhere near where he wanted it.
So,
either way, though, that's two downs there where if you're the Rams, you're basically playing with house money.
Halftime here at McLeod Athletic Park and a wild opening 30 minutes here from Mountain. Langley Rams will take a 15-10 lead into the break and be back with second half action here on BCFC TV. Remax, powered by Treeland Realty. Jake Elliott, Justin Morissette back in 15 minutes for second half action on BCFC TV. Stick around.
Lisa Carter to the referee's room with your key, please. Lisa Carter to the referee's room with the key, please. Lisa Carter, please, to the referee's room to unlock the door for the refs. Athletic Stadium, make some noise for your boys. Welcome back to the field, your Langley Rams.
Football fans, welcome back inside McLeod Athletic Park. Jake Elliott, Justin Morissette with you after 30 minutes of penalty-filled football in the opening half. Langley comes away with a 15-10 lead after 30 minutes, and
a very eventful opening half.
Let's say that. A couple of player ejections. Let's run down the stats here for you, shall we? And 11-10 first downs. Okay. Rushing yards, 117 for Westshore. -7 for Langley in the rush department. Passing yards.
They didn't go to it very often,
No,
in fairness.
They did not. Passing yards, 226 for Langley, 142 for Westshore. Total yards, 207 to 246, so a pretty even contest in that opening half. One turnover apiece. Here we go, Justin Morris. 8 penalties for Langley, 55 yards. Acceptable. You can live with that. Maybe a few too many. But then you look on the other side of the ledger and check this. If anybody knows out there, this could very well be a BCFC record and not a record that you want to have. 26 penalties on the Rebels in that. 26 penalties on the Rebels in that open. 207 yards. That's 2 touchdowns in penalty yards for Langley with the 15-10 victory. I think Westshore has got to feel probably like they're getting hosed in the refereeing department right now, but they got to feel lucky that they're only down 5 points after taking 26 penalties for 207 yards. That's got to be close to a BCFC record. That's in a half, ladies and gentlemen, a half.
And if you're the Rams, you're probably feeling pretty good about the fact that you are up at the half against one of the top teams in the CJFL, at least last season. But at the same time, you're probably feeling pretty disappointed at the fact that you had to settle for a field goal 3 separate times in prime scoring position.
Kick it off. Let's play some football. We're underway here in the second half, and a return for Holmes after a bobbled pickup. We'll get out to the 24-yard line, and Westshore will have the first possession of the second half. Thanks for joining us here on BCFC TV, powered by Remax and Treeline Realty here in Langley. It's Jake Elliott, Justin Morissette with you, and if you want to be interactive during the broadcast here, we've had a few tweets coming in talking about the penalty situation here in the BCFC. You can find me via Twitter at PXP4 Sports. The ball just shy of the 25-yard line. First possession here to start half number 2. And an opening half that took over an hour and a half to play. Apparently the final 3 minutes took 35 minutes to play with all those penalties. Here's
Close
a
to an hour 40.
Fumble from James. Ball is loose. He got it back, but he will lose a couple. As I always like the second half here, Justin Morissette, the chains move over to the near side of the field, which is much easier to determine how far they got to go. And
A little closer to us in the booth here.
Yeah, and they will get no gain, well, maybe a loss of a half a yard, so it'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, that's 2 consecutive plays, and the only 2 plays of this half so far, Jake, where Westshore's dropped the ball both times.
Set up in a shotgun for Brown, who was maybe the most effective, maybe Khalil James for the Rebels in that opening half. As they go trips to the left here, stack up 4 receivers. Brown going to scramble out of the pocket, looking downfield, fires a ball to the Rams sideline and incomplete as the ambulance has left the Langley sideline over there, and we'll send out our well wishes to Mr. Weststat and Alex France done for the day as well, along with Javon Cote. Cody, as he was ejected along with Tyree Dunn from the Rebels for a skirmish in behind the play on that touchdown run from Joe Carter.
Did we get any clarification at the half there, Jake, on what actually happened with Cody to get ejected?
No, we did not, and I'm sure Langley feeling like they got the short end of the stick on that call. Punt team out. High snap for Clark, who struggled in the punt game here. And another short kick will bounce down at the 45 and will bounce out of bounds at the 46 as Clark has really struggled punting the football here, and Langley's going to get excellent field position to start their opening drive here of half number 2.
Beginning inside enemy territory at the 51. But yeah, we mentioned it at the time. Langley definitely has to feel a little bit hosed on that ejection for Cody, because one of their top targets offensively, and again, no discernible reason for that ejection from what we could see up here. He got his helmet popped off.
Well, just, again, we got a flag coming in here, and double flags coming in the Rams' backfield here. As this may be a time count violation or maybe an illegal substitution. I think they had too many players on the field. And they will back up 5 yards to start this drive, and that's not the way you want to start a second half. But you look at the numbers for Duncan Little, 14 of 26, 226 yards to go along with a touchdown. And for Brown, 8 of 12 for 142. 3 catches the high for Filito for 67 yards. And it was Boulanger, 3 catches for 59 yards, leading the way for the Rams.
And those are pretty good numbers for a guy who's been pressured significantly in this contest.
Pitch play on first down and 15, and good positive gain out of the backfield there for number 32, Vincent Mohammed on the carry. Mentioned wearing Nathan Lund, the longtime Langley Rams, old number 32. And picked up about 5, and has a second and manageable 10 yards to go here from the 45-yard line.
Time and space were not two concepts that Duncan Little was all too familiar with in that opening half.
Well,
so
just
to come away with it at 14 for 26 is pretty good, I would say.
And now just -2 in the rushing department after that 5-yard gain. Offset in the backfield. Carter will step up to protect again. The Rebels jump. But they're pointing towards the Rams here, and I think there might have been a little movement up on that offensive line. And it'll be a 2nd and 15, as I don't know how many offside calls were made on the Rebels in that opening half, but this one will go against Langley.
It was Langley early on in the half that was having some trouble along the line, but they got it sorted out as they tried to do those hard counts, as you mentioned so many times, Jake, to get that defense to bite. And we were talking before the end of the first half about which team was going to come out of the break a little bit settled down.
Here comes the pass from Little, loads up down the far sideline, got a man in behind, and well overthrown to Maximilian Joseph as he took a shot at the end of that play as well. And again, if there's one thing Little's been a little bit guilty of so far this afternoon, this opening game, Justin Morris said, is overthrowing his receivers who are getting open for him, but just not putting the football where they can catch it.
We saw that with Cody multiple times. Javon Cody earlier in the first half when he was still in this game before his ejection.
Langley will have to kick away here in a 3rd and 15.
One of the reasons why they had to settle for field goals 3 times in that opening half instead of being able to find the end zone.
Bueno stands back at his 46, waiting for this long snap. It's a good one right in the breadbasket, lines it up, and good kick here, a spiraler back to the 5, all the way to the 3, bounces into the end zone and through the end zone. That'll be a single point for Langley, which is a crucial single point, Justin, as it makes it a 6-point lead now for Langley. So a major score will tie, but that single point effective because they can't take the lead just on a point. They have to have the extra point to take the lead. So good hard punt there from Bueno. That one went about 50 yards through the back of the end zone. And the Rebels will take it at the 35-yard line after picking up a single point there for Langley on that beautiful punt. That's what you want to see coming off the foot. That spiral looks like just a high Hail Mary ball off the foot. Here's Brown, an empty backfield. Delivers a strike and a first down on a gain of 12. Goes to Kane Stevenson. And the Rebels move the chains on a first down pass and catch. They want to go up tempo, hurry up offense on here for Westshore. Mason Brown in the shotgun with a single running back who will move up to the line of scrimmage now. Empty backfield, loads up a long deep one. And overthrown is cleared in coverage as well. Almost lost his footing and then able to recover and was only one to be able to get a hand on that ball. And they'll bring up 2nd and 10 as they look downfield. Haven't done a lot of that here for Westshore today, that deep ball, but a guy like Kyle Claret will do that to you. The reigning rookie of the year is just not a lot of open balls down the sidelines here for the Rebels wide receivers.
They had one huge pass late in the second quarter.
2nd and 10, they're going to need a big play here as Langley trying to bring pressure off the edge. No call. Now Brown going to run, cuts it, and he'll come up short of the first down as he's buried at the midfield stripe, 2 yards short of the first down. And now what does the Westshore offense want to do? Down 6 here in the 3rd quarter. And a good 2 yards to go here from the midfield stripe. Looks like they're going to keep the offense out there. As it looked like another holding call out on the edge on the Ram defensive lineman that went undetected. And you kind of have to applaud the officials for continuing to make call. I mean, if it's a penalty, you got to call it. Here's a draw play up the middle. And Brown will slide up easily for the first down on a design quarterback keeper. And picked up 5. But it's a hard thing humanly to do, if you can stay with me here, Justin, to continually to keep calling penalty after penalty. Sooner or later, you're like, you want to let the guys play, and maybe you start to ignore some things that really are penalties and you should call. But I applaud the officials for making the call consistently all half long. 1st and 10 here for Westshore. Inside Langley territory at the 50-yard line. Time in the pocket now for Brown. Gets flushed out, got an open man, and avoids a tackle. Cuts it up into the middle of the field, and he's got another first down with an 11-yard gain. Kane Stevenson on the reception and good yak yards after the completion.
And not the result that defensive effort might have been looking for Langley, but some good pressure on the quarterback nevertheless.
Ball to the Langley 38-yard line, just inside the right hash mark. Clock running down to 9:05 here to go in this third quarter. 3 receivers high. Langley, flag comes in. Cusker in pursuit. Brown looking downfield, got a man open, and it's caught there by Holmes. As he extended the play here, did Brown, but flag back at the 50-yard line in the vicinity of holding once again on Westshore.
And like you said there, Jake, you do think that the officials at some point will feel like maybe they're having too much of an influence on the game. But at the same time,
it's the two teams that are influencing the game with undisciplined play.
Absolutely. At the same time, there are certainly guys out there on the field. For example, Partap Sandhu for the defensive line for the Rams, who probably feel like they're getting wrapped up and held on just about every single down. So it is a difficult balance to walk if you are the officiating crew, and I would say they're doing a fine job of it so far.
They'll back them up. You got to get to the 27 of Langley for a first down. Long way to go here on 1st and 20. Time in the pocket once again. Here comes pressure. Fired over the middle. It's picked off. Intercepted in the defensive backfield by Langley. As he did well to hang on to the football after taking a hard hit as well. J.P. Calamabay with the play. Campbell, excuse me.
Calambay, I believe. we could say it 10 times every time.
First down on a 17-yard scamper to the Rams sideline. Vincent Muhammad on the carry.
And my goodness, he is tiny.
As they go back to the run. And run to the wide side to the Rams, as you'll watch it here on the pitch play once again. And just enough blocking out on that edge to turn the corner. And a good run on first down will move the chains, and a fresh set here for Langley. From the right hash mark. Back under center for Little. And they'll hand it to the up man this time. Plowing ahead for a couple. I believe that was Carter in the pack.
But once again, that's penalty flags influencing the game, because that interception only happens on a desperation pass to try and make up long yardage after the Rebels got put back an additional 10 yards on penalties once again.
3-yard gain on first down brings up 2nd and 7 here from the 47. As the Rams break the huddle, Carter will be the lone back. 3 receivers to the near wide side. Again, no Javon Codius. He's been ejected from this game now. As Bologna in the low snap, Little to throw, fires, has Aglinetto. Makes one man miss, makes another, and spins ahead for another Rams first down to the midfield strike.
Nick Aglinetto with a great catch there, and then some resilience to hang on to it and make some moves to pick up some additional yardage. Shakes off one tackle nearly ducks out of the second, but his feet get wrapped up and he is hauled to the floor.
He is courageous. A smaller receiver in stature, but goes to the dirty areas of the football field and not shy to make the tough catches in those areas. 1st and 10, Langley from the shotgun this time. Rebels show pressure. Picked up. A little bubble screen here to the receiver. I think that's tough to pick up over on that first sideline. Was that Joseph on the reception? And he'll pick up close to 4, maybe 5, depending on the spot here. And a good drive in the works for the Langley Rams to the Rebel 50 now.
And it is indeed Max Joseph able to haul that one in. As Duncan Little getting a little bit more creative in terms of where he's looking with his pass options in the second half. It was a lot of long balls throughout the first and second quarters, perhaps by necessity, as they did find themselves in second and long situations quite a bit, Jake. But
we're going to have to get more creative here with no Javon Cody. As I mentioned, he wasn't targeted a whole lot. He made the opening catch of the game, but then the Rebel defense really kind of took Cody out of the game plan for Langley, which made Langley start to spread the ball around a little bit more because Cody was being double covered. Now they can either drop back into zone, play man-to-man, whatever you want to do, but Langley is going to have to get creative in their play calling to try and find open bodies with no double coverage on Cody now.
Of course, Cody facing double coverage certainly changes the look of what the defense is bringing to them with him out of the game, but it is not the only body that they've lost. We've talked about it a few times. Brett Wested out of this game with a significant leg injury that he suffered back in the first half. And Alex France. So that's 3 receiving targets.
Yeah, 3 offensive players gone for Langley here. So they'll break out of the timeout.
Which is why we've seen Vincent Mohammed already in this second half.
Ball just ahead of the 51-yard line. Langley's got to get to the 45 for a first down, so a long 5.5 here to go for Little and Langley.
And in the absence of Cody, it's been Victor Belanger who's been the preferred target of his quarterback.
There's Little over the middle, trying to find Belanger, and again, overthrown by about 2-3 yards as Little took another hit in the Langley backfield after throwing that football and picks himself up very slowly. But it will be a punting situation here for the Rams, as they should be able to pin Westshore back deep in their own zone here with a good kick and coverage.
Perhaps a little winded there, the Langley quarterback.
Took one right in the rib cage, I believe, after letting it fly. Again, Little, you've seen it 3, 4, maybe even 5 times here today, overthrowing open receivers deep downfield. And I guess that's better than having not enough arm to get it downfield, but you'll find your range a little bit for Duncan Little.
And again, this is just the first game of the year. There's still plenty of time to tweak things as the season rolls along.
Here comes the kick from Bueno. No pressure coming. Gets another good kickoff down to the 12-yard line. Here comes the return. And spinning out of one tackle, spinning out of another. Look out. Cutting it back across field. And room to run here for Womack. Up the first sideline, makes one more cut and is cut down at the 43-yard line after about a 60-yard return on special teams. A flag down at the Westshore 44.
And Balte Denoya right now for the Rams, signaling like that one's going to come all the way back.
Again, I think another situation where Bueno is just out kicking his coverage. And they got some athletes on the return game. Do the Rebels with Cody Holmes. And they will back up the Rebels. Another monster penalty here against Westshore on the return.
Negating what had looked like the biggest offensive pickup for either side in this entire game to this point.
Man, if Langley can go on to win this game, it's not going to be too hard to figure out where it went wrong for Westshore today, as they just keep tacking yards on to already an astronomical number of penalty yards.
Head referee looking like the player of the game at the moment.
1st and 10 from the 34. They will throw on first down, look deep downfield, and in behind everybody, intended for Greenway, and overshot him by about 4 yards.
Speaking of overthrowing, This time, it's Mason Brown who suffers from a little bit of that.
2nd and 10. Langley trying to get off the field here. We got 4:24 to go in this third quarter. That has moved a little bit quicker than what we saw in that opening half.
And not for lack of flags either, as that was the main source of delays in the opening half.
Here comes the 2nd and 10 as they go 4 receivers to the near wide side. Pressure comes from the Rams. They get home. They still have Brown on his feet as somehow he evades multiple tacklers and then fires the ball out of bounds. But again, Langley into the backfield, but Brown so elusive back there, kept the play alive before firing it incomplete.
And he has had a pretty strong outing so far this afternoon, Jake. He's shown no reluctance to run when the pressure gets too intense, and has had some fantastic carries for the Rebels throughout the game thus far. But it is that evasiveness that is his best quality, as no matter how much pressure the Rams pour on, and there certainly have been multiple occasions throughout this contest where that defensive line is showing tremendous penetration into the Rebel backfield, it has just been near impossible to bring Mason Brown down.
2 returners back here for Langley. Better kick, but still not a great kick for Clark as he sidelines that one out of bounds around the 53 of Westshore, so it doesn't even make the midfield stripe. That's an area they are going to have to address here for Westshore. I don't know if they can live with that kind of kicking game all season long here for the Rebels.
But an area that is on the flip side.
It's such an important area of the game of football, but especially in the Canadian game where you got 3 downs and your punter is going to have to do a job for you.
That's the one thing the Rams have to be very happy about, though, so far today. Matias Bueno has been just excellent.
And Langley in Westshore territory to start this drive from the 53-yard line. Little in the shotgun. 3-man front here for Westshore. And it's a handoff to Carter. Not a lot of speed towards the line of scrimmage, and then he's cut down from behind after about a yard gain. And just a little slow to the line of scrimmage there for Carter. I think he's got to pick his hole and just put the hat down and drive forward as he's trying to kind of pick his way through. And he's not really a speed guy. He's more of a bruiser up in the middle. But that defensive line for Westshore has done a pretty nice job of plugging up the middle.
Carter, of course, was the receiver on the lone touchdown for the Rams so far today, but has yet to have that definitive run out of the backfield, as the rushing game has not been a strong suit of the Rams offense to this point.
Here's Little. On a 2nd and 8, deep drop. They set that screen up again, and it slips right through the hands of Carter. Might have been deflected. And falls incomplete as they set up that screen that's been effective for him twice so far this game, and they dialed it up again. It looks like they had what they wanted, but that pass just got deflected out of the hands of Carter, who couldn't make the catch, and the punt team will come out here for Langley.
And he might be having nightmares about that one later this evening, depending on how the rest of this game goes. Certainly looked disappointed in the moment as they get set to kick this one away.
Downs back at his 45-yard line to kick this one away. Good protection, another good kick here. And catching on the run at the 18, and a good return on here for Holmes as he gets out to the 39. As he took that one on the run. And good field position here for Westshore to start this drive. Down 16-10 with 1:51 here to go in the third quarter.
Talked about the size advantage along the lines that does favor Westshore. Jake, you and I were talking back in the first quarter whether or not that size mismatch might wear down the lines for Langley as the game wore on. But if anything, it seems like this defense is just getting stronger and stronger as this game continues.
This game just about 2 hours and 20 minutes old, and we're not even into the fourth quarter yet. It has been a penalty-filled opening game here from Langley today.
That's Aiden Enns Horvath with the carry for the Rebels there. His first carry of the day.
Langley will head out the highway number 1 to Exhibition Field in Chilliwack to take on the Huskers next weekend. And it'll be the Okanagan Sun waiting up at the Sun Bowl for the Rebels to make the long trip up from Vancouver Island. Second down and about 5 to go. Brown in the backfield will throw right at the sticks. Ball caught and wrangled up there by Claret. But not before about a 10-yard gain into Langley territory at the 48.
Cody Holmes looked like he had the first down as soon as he brought the ball in, but he was able to add a significant amount of yardage on top of that as well before Claret could wrap up his feet and haul him in.
Fresh set of downs here for the Rebels. Clock down to 55 seconds here to go in the third.
First and 10 at the 53.
Under center, handoff up the middle, and James, not much. Maybe a yard, maybe 2. And Rebels get up and throw a bit of a punch, which it got away with. Did number 35, and ends Horvath. I'll give him about a 3-yard gain, make it 2nd and 7 here from the 50. They go quickly, low snap, get protection, fired wide side, and that's incomplete. Intended for Greensway out on the wide side of the field. Not sure he was going to have enough for a first down anyway, and pretty good coverage out there on that wide side as well.
Did take a bit of a knock after the ball sailed over his head, but it's not pass interference when the ball's already long gone.
And is the Westshore offense going to stay out on the field here for a 3rd and 7 from the Langley 50? They are. Guard against the quarterback keeper here.
Time ticks down here in the quarter. 5 seconds left on the clock, but it continues to tick.
They will snap it, and now they're going to pooch punt it here with the quarterback. And that might be the best. And a flag comes in. And the quarterback pooch punted. That might have been the best punt of the game for Westshore. Was actually recovered by the Rebels, but I think well offside as the flag came down as soon as he touched the football. Westshore thinks it's their football, as you don't see that play made very often, but the official's going to talk it over here. Defense for Langley still out on the field. They were not expecting that out of the Rebel offense.
And this coaching staff, for Westshore might get set to explode once again.
He's 15 yards out onto the field. And I don't think he thinks the officials know the rules. He thinks that was a great play call and recovery by his team. I'm not sure who he's yelling at down there. This Victoria coaching staff has not been happy all afternoon.
The linesman comes over to discuss it with the coaching staff, who seem borderline apoplectic at some of the calls they've seen so far today.
Ball will be Rams football. They will get it at the 31-yard line after the penalty flag. I believe for a legal man downfield. I think the man downfield before the punt was made. So it's Langley ball from the 31, 1st and 10.
0 seconds on the clock.
Oh, up the seam, and Joseph again had a step on his man, and Little overthrew him by 2 yards. Man, oh man. That is a touchdown if he delivers that football on the money.
And again, as we've said multiple times, Jake, it's not a lack of power, right? That would be more concerning if he was underthrowing it. This is an adjustment that you can make with the arm that he's got over the course of the season, you got to think, because he's not very far out of sync with his receivers thus far.
It's a game of inches. Has 3 quarters in the books here from McLeod Athletic Park. Langley with just a single point in that 3rd quarter, the only points of the quarter. Will take a 6-point lead going into the final 15 minutes here on BCFC TV. Jake Kelly, Justin Morris sent with you for Langley Rams football, powered by Remax and Treeland Realty here in Langley.
And this has been a bit of a weird one, Jake. I'm not sure what I expected coming into the day, but...
this is about what I expected for the opening game of the season between a much improved Langley Rams team and a team that finished atop the regular season last season for Westshore, who brought back a fully loaded roster once again for 2018, and who knows, we could be watching a preview of a potential playoff matchup later on this fall.
I was going to say there already looks like a level of dislike here between two teams who you'd think have faced each other multiple times this season already, with perhaps playoffs on the line. It seems like that kind of game the way tempers are flaring, but...
It does. It's been a slobber knocker here with a lot of penalty calls. 2nd and 10 from the 31. Langley trying to extend the drive here to start fourth quarter action. 5 receivers in. Joseph on the near side. There's the slant. It's almost intercepted as it falls incomplete. Dangerous throw there by Little. As Malik
Womack.
Yeah, almost made the play. As Joseph never really established interior position there. And Womack kind of sitting on that slant. Almost picked it off.
Good job by Womack, though, to establish interior position there without interfering with the receiver at all. Just kind of slid in at the last second.
Sure did. As went out back to punt here, standing on his own 17-yard line. So Westshore, who has been dangerous on the return the last couple of times, should get good field position on an end-over-end kick this time. Holmes will step up on it at the 53. Lowers the head. Flag comes in back at the 51. Still on his feet for Holmes as he's getting tackled, and finally a whistle comes in.
Looked more like guys were trying to strip him of the ball than take him down.
Now Cusker goes down what looks like maybe a cramp here. Is the official going to help him out a little bit? Looks like a bit of a hamstring or calf cramp for Cusker.
That left leg just seized up on him, but he's back on his feet now.
Trying to run it off. They don't want to lose 53 off the field for very long. They will have to come off the field here for at least a play. And now the discussion about the penalty flag back at the Rams 51-yard line. I mean, the Westshore coaching staff pretty much objecting to every single penalty call that goes against them. This one goes against Langley. It's a no yards call, and it's a 15 no yards as Holmes stepped up on that catch and caught it before it bounced off the turf. If he lets it bounce, it's just 5 yards in the no yards, but because he caught it right out of the air, it's 15. So big penalty there on Langley. And now the ball down to the 37-yard line here. And a 1st and 10 for Brown, who's going to run it up the middle. And he's tackled down nicely there. Reaching out to make that play was Kim Cross, who brought him down after a minimal gain. They tried to dial up the quarterback keeper, which has been effective for Westshore a number of times this game. But that time Langley able to reach out there as you see Cross with just enough strength to pull Brown down after a 2-yard gain.
And we talked about the evasiveness, the elusiveness of Mason Brown throughout this game. That's not been an easy thing for this Langley defense to do.
Evasive Mason.
But they got him there.
Here comes a throw on 2nd down. He has to tuck it down. He's sacked.
Get him again.
Coming
this
in.
time it's Partep Sandu.
Sandu with the sack. And it brings up 3rd and long.
Nothing holding them back on that one. Penetrates the pocket and hauls down the quarterback.
That's a big play on defense there for Langley. Now, what does Westshore want to do? It's a 3rd and 10 from the 37. You're down 6 in the 4th quarter. Clock running, 12:50 to go.
That would have to be at least a 42-yard field goal if they were to try for that. But it looks like they're going to go for it. 3rd and 10.
You might see that pooch kick again here from Brown. Be ready for anything here if you're Langley. They will snap the football, and I think they got a time count violation this time, which will back them up another 5. Did not get the snap off in time.
And we'll see if that changes their strategy at all here, if they elect to punt this one away in the end after all. Though it's not exactly like they were close to the first down on that one to begin with.
The official pointed the wrong direction. It is a 5-yard time count violation. They'll back it up. So it's 3rd and 15 now from the 42. And does this change the decision? It doesn't look like it. They are going to go for it on the 3rd and 15 now. And if you're Langley, stay home here, stay disciplined. As they'll snap it. They'll throw it deep down this near sideline. Double coverage out there.
They're looking for Deshaun Greenaway.
I don't know how you throw a flag in that situation. Double coverage. And they're going to call pass interference here on Langley, or it might go against Greenway.
Greenaway, the only happy man coming out of that situation, as he dances his way back to his teammates.
That is a costly penalty there.
Take another look at it here on the replay.
You be the judge. I mean, I don't know how you pick somebody out of that and call pass interference.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it personally, Jake.
That's a no call.
There have been some pass interference situations a little bit more borderline than that earlier in this game, so if you're going to let those ones go and call this one, doesn't seem right to me. But
that's an automatic first down for Westshore, which will keep the drive alive, and that coming on a 3rd and 15. Get bailed out with a pass interference call.
Negating 2 great stops from this defensive line for the Rams.
The Rams will have to dig in here again on a 1st and 10. Brown to roll out. Here comes Claret with pressure. Can't bring him down. Still Brown on his feet. Rolling, throwing, and incomplete. Classic on the coverage. And a good job there as Claret was into the backfield.
Really brought Brown down for a loss of 10 or 15 even.
Can they do it 2 more times here? Still a ton of time to go here in the 4th quarter. But you got to have the feeling if they're going for it on 3rd and 15 from the 45, they're going to go for it every time here on 3rd down now.
They're looking for that touchdown.
Ball is down on the 27-yard line. Got to get to the 17 for a first down. We got a timeout down on the field. As the shadows, as they often do, creeping across McLeod Athletic Park here, almost to the near hash marks.
It's tough for us to get a second look at that pass interference call, as it was right under the cloak of that shadow.
As the old replay screen from the old Empire Stadium when the BC Lions had to move out of BC Place for renovations, and they took that replay screen from Empire and moved it right here to McLeod Athletic Park, which apparently was not an easy task to get that thing set up and running properly.
Oh, no.
Here at McLeod.
Just the transportation alone, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, and then all the wires into the field and getting it hooked up to the scoreboard and the replay and all the rest of it. It was quite the undertaking, but a worthwhile investment, no doubt.
I'm sure the fans here in the stands are very happy to have it.
All right. 2nd and 10 from the 27. They go I formation and Brown under center. And they fake the handoff. It's a rollout for Brown. Can't get the edge. He's going to be sacked
again.
Great coverage downfield and good pursuit upfield for Langley as they get the big sack, a 10-yard loss.
And Jake, this has been a long time coming. How many times did we talk about, back in that 2nd quarter in particular, that the Rams were showing great penetration? They were pressuring the pocket. They were getting in the dirty areas to make Mason Brown's job difficult, but he was just somehow snaking his way away out of the pressure.
And now what are they going to do? I think they're bringing out the kick team now as maybe out of their range. Because I don't know if they ever intend to kick this ball here. They're going to line up for a field goal from the 42-yard line, and I don't think Clark has this kind of leg. And now they get a late substitution on, and now they got to call timeout. They did not have the proper personnel out on the field, and somebody ran out late. That was number 36 down there for, or was it 38?
Robert Modi.
Came onto the field late and then tried to get back off, and the Rebels have to call timeout, Justin, and that's could be a crucial timeout having to be burned here in the fourth quarter.
Well, Jake, they say often that teams take on the character of their leaders, whether that's the captains on the field or the coaching staff, and there has been just an enormous amount of fire in the belly from the coaches on the Westshore Rebels sidelines throughout this game, and that is reflected in perhaps their
It's an emotional game.
Undisciplined play as well.
I still have yet to believe they are actually going to kick this ball. Here it comes from Clark from 42 out. It's partially blocked. And it's a live football. Joseph will pick it up. Got a block on the edge. Sidesteps a man, stays on his feet, and gets out past the 20. 2 flags back inside the 10-yard line.
But Max Joseph able to evade 3 tackles before he was hauled down.
Ryan McDonald's old number 2. And now, let's see what the officials call here, but the all-important stand by the Langley defense there faced a couple of third downs. That penalty pass interference call to get past all of that, and then partially blocked the long field goal attempt. Westshore, after a long drive, comes up empty with nothing.
And it would have been easy to just kind of roll over and, I don't want to say give up, but if things had gone the other way after that penalty call kind of undid those 2 sacks, I don't want to say it would have been understandable on some level, let's say. You know, like they came up with 2 huge stops and it would have been significantly disheartened by that call. They kept fighting, though, did the exact same thing that they did earlier.
Dangerous here, though, as it was a chop block on the return from Joseph. Will back this ball up to their own 1-yard line, as Little will go under center from his own end zone here. And look out, this might be safety territory here for Langley. Just get out of your own end zone. They'll pitch it. It's a run play to Mohammed. He'll get out past the 5 to the 6-yard line. And a pretty good gain there as he cut it back upfield, and now will give himself a second and manageable. But that's, with that big defensive line of Westshore, that's a scary proposition, snapping that football on your own goal line.
And of course, we've talked about that little pass up the middle that's worked for them a couple times today. The reason that that's worked is because the blitz from the defensive line of the Rebels has been so intense.
5 yards to go as we have an injured Ram down the field. Now a flag comes in late. And what's this for? Maybe some undisciplined yakking at the referee, and that one's going to sting the Rams there. As 54, Tyrell Pierce was down on a knee. Looked like he got the injury timeout and must have said something to the official, who threw the flag immediately. And this will back up the football back to the 1-yard line here. Or half the distance to the goal line, I should say. So they'll place the ball down the 3-yard line, and Langley not out of trouble yet. I don't know what happened to Pierce, but he will take a walk down the Rams sideline to cool off, as they lose one of their interior linemen for at least the next play. And now if you're Coach Matt Blocker, what do you do here on a 2nd and about 8 from your own 2? Rams will break the huddle, as they got 2 in the backfield. 2 to the near side, 2 to the high side. Little will go under center. Westshore showing blitz. It's a handoff. Look out. This is going to be a safety. I honestly don't think that's the worst thing in the world here for Langley, to give up 2 points and be able to get a free kick away from their own end zone. So 16-12 now. Still a 4-point game. You're still forcing the other team to score a touchdown to beat you. And you're going to get way better field position here. And I think if they don't pick up the first down, they probably snap that ball and take the safety anyway.
Yeah.
So not the worst case scenario here for Langley to get field position back. As they will get a free kick here. They'll either kick off or punt from the 35-yard line. As nobody has left their seat here at McLeod Athletic Park with 10 minutes to go. And what has been a tight one most of the way here. It's a 4-point game now. Langley in the lead, 16-12. As we kick off the opening game of the season here in the BCFC. Jake Elliott, Justin Morris set with you from the broadcast booth here at McLeod Athletic Park on BCFC TV, powered by Remax and Treeland Realty. And they will elect for the kickoff here from Bueno. And they tease it up on the right hash from the 35. There's a big gap around the 45-yard line here between the up men and the deep men here for Westshore. If they could drop a ball in that area, maybe. Or do they just go and try and boot it as deep as possible? The returners, Greensway and Cody Holmes, they'll kick it deep. And to the 40, to the 43, chugging ahead. Move to the 50 as they move the pile out across the 50 on a huge surge. Moving the pack out to the 53-yard line. So good field position nonetheless here for Westshore, down 4 now.
And honestly, Jake, it's not great if you're the Rams to be giving the ball back to the Rebels here. But again, think about what could have happened on that last set of downs, basically. Greenaway had that pass interference call that brought the Westshore offense to within basically the 5-yard line before they were pushed back by penalties again. In some ways, Langley has to think they're lucky not to be down at least by a touchdown score there from Westshore.
Well, they'll line it up 1st and 10, and they'll hand it off. And good pursuit. Claret will stack him up and drop him for a loss with some help from a couple of bodies there in blue. Coley in on the tackle as well.
It's Khalil James, who looked like he was just having his way with the running game earlier in this one, has gone cold as this Langley defense has done a pretty good job of shutting down just about everything the Rebels want to do.
That's a loss of close to 6 there on Westshore. They got to get to the Langley 48 for a first down as they stand on the 47 now. Play action. Brown, here's pressure. Evades one man, evades another. Look for a shovel. Oh, face mask there. And that's going to get called. And still on his feet is Brown as he reaches ahead. Picked up the first down anyway and tack on another 15 yards. What a run. After avoiding 2 potential sackers in the backfield, one there, another there. And there's the face mask. But Brown manages to stay on his feet as he reaches ahead and picks up first down yardage anyway.
And Rayshawn Provo and Ronan Silver on the sideline for the Rebels after that run upfield from their quarterback.
Tack on another 15 yards on the personal foul, illegal hands to the face.
Those two turned around and started getting into it, taunting the fans here.
That is another big penalty call as Cusker comes back into the game here for Langley after addressing his cramping. But a couple of big penalties here on Langley in this second half have extended Westshore drives, as we saw Westshore hand the favor to Langley in the opening half, but Langley only able to convert them into field goals, not touchdowns, and that may come back to burn them here in this fourth quarter.
It's Brendan Coles who looks a little shaken up now for the Rams, as he had to head to the sidelines after all that. Is now hunched over by the fence post.
Ball on the 46 of Langley. It's a 1st and 10. Snap. Handoff Khalil James. Sidesteps a man, falls forward for about 6. Another good surge up the middle for James, who's got size and footwork to go with that big body of his. Very agile for a big man. And picked up 5. Big play here on defense now for Langley with 8 minutes to go here in the contest. Under center this time for Brown. James in the backfield. Now Brown gonna work back into the shotgun as it looks like he wants to go audible here. Plants himself on the 45-yard line, barking out signals. Crouches down, takes the shotgun snap. Got time, got a delivery on the near sideline to Greensway, who's got a first down and wrestled out of bounds by Klassen. So good audible there from Mason Brown, who picks up the first down with a delivery to Deshaun Greenway. And Westshore will keep the drive alive as they move the sticks. Ball down to the 35-yard line. Clock still running. As Brown just in the sunlight. Handoff up the middle. James. And plows ahead for another 4, maybe 5. As he gets down to near the 30-yard line. And they'll bring up a 2nd and 5. And this is where that run game from the Rebels, Justin, can start to take effect late in this 4th quarter. Pounding along that defensive line of Langley, who has to be tired now. Brown will throw on 2nd and 5. Looks deep into the end zone. Got a man open. Touchdown, Westshore.
Nathan Folito, who's come up with some big grabs for this Rebels side throughout this game. None bigger than that one right there.
And he better be careful as he's close to taunting as got up with him down. Then the old quiet down the crowd as he runs up the sideline. As Westshore goes into the lead now, 18-16, and expect a single point to come here for Clark to make it a 3-point Rebel lead. Well thrown ball there from Mason Brown up the near sideline as he'll watch it again as Folito just kept the feet in bounds for the Major. As the extra point is up and good. I kind of wonder why maybe moving to the far sideline not the greatest idea for Langley, as it gives the opposing team to turn around and get after the crowd a little bit on their own right. Where instead of getting the crowd behind them like the Rams could do, maybe Westshore feeding off this Langley fan base here, turning around and taunting.
Silencing them a little bit, taking them out of it.
Still just a 3-point game here with 6.5 to go. The Rams will get the football back and have to find a way to get downfield and potentially into the end zone. Clark will tee it up from the 45. 2 men deep here for Langley. And here comes Clark to put a leg into it. It's a short looper again. Joseph steps up on it. And the Rams return man spins out of 1 tackle and gets gang tackled at the 39. Decent field position here for Langley as they'll try and orchestrate a drive late in the 4th quarter here, down 3 now. After the Rebels just put up a touchdown on their last drive.
And I don't want to say that these next 2 downs will tell the story of the game because, of course, still plenty of time left on the clock, Jake. 6:23 to go. But the Rams need something big here, and they need it pretty quick. The defense has been very strong in this second half for the most part.
Well, regardless, is Sky King down on a knee again here for Langley. Regardless of who comes out victorious or a loser in this game, I think both teams can come away knowing that they can compete with each other. It hasn't been a blowout by any means, and I think a lot of good things have happened for both teams, and I think some not so good things have happened for both teams. A lot to clean up after week 1 here for both the Rams and the Rebels.
I would certainly agree with that. But offense has been tough to come by for Langley here in this second half. Just the 1 point on the board. It was the only point scored in that third quarter.
I mean, you look at it here for Langley, who went 4-6 last year, did not beat the Rebels, the Raiders, or the Sun. A real opportunity here on your home field in week 1 to take down a team that finished in first place. You're just down 3 with 6 minutes to go. Can you capitalize and take advantage of the opportunity in front of you right now? I formation, Little under center. He'll hand no play out. That's a live football. Carter's got to go after it here, and Westshore going to get on top of it. Who's on it? It's picked up by the Rebels, and they're going to walk down to the 12-yard line. And I'm not sure what Joe Carter was thinking, or Little for that matter, who went for a little lateral swing pass, and that was a live football, and Carter just watched it. Watch it again here on the replay. That ball clearly going backwards as Carter got bumped and then reacted as 4 Rebels were around the football and get on top of it. I think this is Westshore football.
And again, we've talked a couple times throughout the day about Duncan Little perhaps not realizing how much time he has. Because that was...
Or is it going to be Westshore football?
A pitch far from the target there.
Oh, the Rebels can't believe it. I think this ball's going to stay with Langley here. I don't know if he's calling it incomplete or maybe there's a penalty on Westshore. And the coach is 15 yards out onto the field now.
They haven't flipped over the down yet either on the stick, so
I don't know.
It might even be a repeat of first down here.
Does anybody know what the call is there?
Loose ball foul.
Okay, so that was a lateral pass, but they're calling a loose ball foul on Westshore for hitting Carter. I don't know. Out of all the penalties they've been called on, I think that one is highly questionable against the Rebels, as the ball will stay with the home team, Langley Rams here. And
it's a repeat of first down.
Here's Carter with a good cut, and he'll pick up close to 10.
His best carry of the game, and that looks like it should be a first down, Jake.
Depending on the spot here, and again, the Rebel coach 5 yards out onto the field. Man, oh man, can Langley take advantage of that almost gifted a free possession? That, I think, should have been
just shy of the first there.
They're going to bring in the chains for a measurement here. I think that should have been Westshore football on a lateral pass there. And they got bailed out on a loose ball foul, which you don't see that call made very often, if at all.
I don't think either of us particularly liked that pass interference call that went in the Rebels' favor earlier.
And just by the nose of the football, first down, Langley. And I'm talking inches there for Carter to get a first down for Langley. What a football game here. 49-yard line for Langley. It's a 1st and 10 from the right hash mark. Little will work out of the shotgun. Carter in behind. 3 receivers to the high wide side. As Eglianetto in motion, here is Little to throw over the middle. Got a completion. Diving ahead is Laguerre, I believe. And he's close to another first down. I think he's got it. And if I'm Langley, that's the look I'm going for here on this drive. 10 yards over the middle, quick timing plays, bang, bang. And just march your way down the field here if you can.
That's where they've had their most success throughout this game, really. Looking for the long ball has not really been their friend throughout much of this contest.
Little out of the shotgun once again. 3 receivers to the near side this time. Little to throw again, and that one, a little miscommunication between Maximilian Joseph and Duncan Little as Joseph cut to the inside. Ball went to the outside and falls incomplete at 2nd and 10.
That was a dangerously low pass to begin with, though. It's a couple of plays on this drive where Little not looking quite himself, or at least not looking the way he did earlier in this game.
Clock ticking down to 4:13 and running. 2nd and 10 here from the 50-yard line of Westshore. Got to make something happen here in a 2nd and 10 for the Rams.
4:04 on the clock.
Receivers to the line. That's offside and a free play here. Carter will make the catch. He's got room to run. Trying to bounce it to the outside again. Carter up the far sideline. Big block on the edge. A flag comes in. Now this will be offside on Westshore, but a second flag comes in around the 30-yard line after another good catch and run from Joe Carter Jr. Let's check the flags. Because I think, if anything, it should be an automatic first down and maybe 5 yards tacked off here. All 5 officials huddle up here for a real important call.
It's a 23-yard pickup on the catch.
I don't know if it was a Langley block right at the end of that play that brought in that second flag. The first one was definitely offside. That's declined. Second is a hold on. It's a first down, Langley. And they'll bring the ball. Really a spot adjusting. Looks like inside the 30-yard line down to the 27. Look out here for the Rams as they're on the move.
I don't think those penalties really factored into anything here unless they're going to walk this ball back now.
I think that holding call might have been on Westshore. So an offside and a holding call, and now they're going
to... holding is going against the offense.
Okay, so they will back it up.
But they needed to spot the first down chains initially.
So it will be a first down from the 39 for Langley. 1st and 10 to go. Clock down to 3:49. Left hash mark in the sunshine for Duncan Little. 4-man front here for the Rebels. Now they bring in 2 linebackers. Look to blitz. Fire over the middle. Pass caught. Spinning out of a tackle there was
Stephen Laguerre.
Former quarterback Stephen Laguerre, who gets the ball down to the 30. And it'll be a 2nd and 1 here for Langley.
He just hauled that one in and did his best to hang on to it as he had 2 defenders draped over him immediately.
Rams on the move. Face a 2nd and 1 from the 30-yard line.
Little made the call to throw into double coverage there, but Laguerre
3-man front this time for the Rebels. Carter off to the side a little. He'll take the shotgun snap, looks to throw quickly, and ball knocked away. Intended for Aglanetto. A good defense there for Westshore. And out of all the play calls that Coach Matt Blocker has made today, which I've been in favor of a lot, I'm not so sure about that one on a 2nd and 1 to go to the air. I might just take my chances on 2 straight runs trying to pick up a yard if you don't get it on 2nd down. But now it's a 3rd and 1, and you got to go here. Down 3 with 3 minutes to go, don't you?
I would think so.
You could line up and try and tie this game with a long field goal. But just a yard to go here on 3rd down. You could extend the drive, keep the clock moving, and give yourself a chance to win the football game if you can pick up a first down.
The running game has not been a strength of their offense throughout the day. They were 1st and goal at one point earlier, looking for that 2-point conversion after the Joe Carter touchdown. Couldn't get it there.
In between the hash marks, Little will go out of the gun. Maybe try and draw him offside. That's a good call there as they crouch the line, and no flags come in, and ball is dropped by Joseph. But no flag comes in, as I think Little thought he had an offside call, but no flag came in.
Looked to me like an offside as well, and I believe everybody up here in the booth.
Well, I think that's why Little snapped the football, because he thought it was offside on Westshore, and there was no flag. That's a turnover on downs.
And that might be the ball game right there.
Man, oh man. It looked like Westshore. Watch, we'll get a good look at the line right there. I don't know.
Now the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the first half went for close to 35-40 minutes, as we said earlier, Jake. So we'll see how much time is actually still left in this game.
Got to come up with a stop here if you're Langley. And that's not going to help matters on a big first down run from Khalil James. Man, oh man, go back to that 2nd and 1, passing the football instead of trying to run it, and then thought they had an offside on the 3rd and 1, and what a great toss there from Little to Joseph, who couldn't make the catch, and that's a turnover on downs. And now it becomes a 2nd and a long 2 here for the Rebels with the clock down to 2:15, leading by 3. Mason Brown under center. Handoff up the middle to the fullback. He's got the first down and more. And that'll move the sticks for the Rebels, who will chew some more time off the clock here with a fresh set of downs.
And that clock is still running, which is the most troubling thing right now if you're the Langley Rams.
I think the most discouraging thing here for Langley will be missed opportunities.
That too.
They had their chances in this game, and still time to go. It's not over yet, but I think when they go back and watch the tape on this one, they'll be thinking, man, oh man, we let that one get away as we had it. As a time count violation, that is a big one there against the Rebels, which will stop the clock and back them up 5 yards.
And all those opportunities, Jake, really came back in the first half. All those times they had to settle for field goals. They come out of that first half with 15 points on the board, but realistically, you'd probably like to have
at least one touchdown.
Yeah, 24 points perhaps up on the board out of all that. Or at least 20, 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals, let's say.
So we'll make it 2nd and 10 here.
If they'd been able to do that back in the first half, they'd still have the lead right now.
Langley needs a stop, and they'll get one. Gonna yank that ball loose. Now you got to call timeout. Looks like Langley will get the football back here one more time. With 1:26 to go, Langley calls timeout, and Westshore will surely kick away here from their own 51. Or will they? The punt game has not been good, but Clark will come out onto the field. And as we've seen time and time again here in the BCFC, anything can happen on a punt team. A lot of factors going into get a successful kick away. And then you got an explosive player in Max Joseph deep back for a return who can make things happen. So all is not lost yet for Langley. Here's Clark with the kick. Gets his best off of the day as he angles it towards the sideline, takes a big bounce. Joseph just stays in bounds. He's going to run for the far sideline. Now he cuts it upfield. Still Joseph picking his way through defenders, and he's knocked down around the 23.
And Langley has 71 seconds to march this thing all the way down the field.
Now you just need 3 for a tie here, so you don't have to get in the end zone. But what would you say with Bono's leg? You got to get down maybe around the 30 to give yourself a legitimate shot to tie this game.
He's been very good.
Joseph slow to pick himself up after a hard tackle. And they're going to need him with no Javon Cody in this game, which has really altered the Langley offense since being ejected.
You mentioned it multiple times. They've lost multiple weapons, not just Cody.
Yeah, Westad gone, France gone as well. But can't worry about that now as they'll start this drive from the 24 with 1:11 to go and down 3 points.
They are making do with what they've got. And we will see if what they've got is enough to tie this game.
There's Duncan Little in the shotgun. Here comes the blitz from Westshore, and that's a late hit too. Where is the flag on that?
That's 2 flags. That should be 2.
My goodness, he jumped offside and then just followed through with a hit on the quarterback for no reason. if you don't ring him up for 15 yards on that, I don't know what you're looking at.
And that's Ronan Silver, who I mentioned earlier was taunting the crowd after a big play from the offense.
His coach is absolutely livid on him, and rightly so. That's free yardage there for Langley, and 2 seconds came off the clock, which should probably go back up, as I don't know if it was ever a live snap.
If you're Langley, though, you're probably disappointed that that free yardage is only 5 yards.
No personal foul on that. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. You don't call a personal foul on that. Here's Little, and another flag comes in down the sideline. Joseph just out of the reach. And Joseph has to be careful as he spikes the ball down the sideline after being overthrown.
Let's see what this flag is for.
The football game that will not end. It's offside on Langley. So it was a 1st and 5. Now it'll go back to a 1st and 10. Or do they want to keep it, decline it, and make it 2nd and 5? They do decline the penalty. So it's 2nd and 5 here for Langley. I'm still just flabbergasted that you can put a free hit on the quarterback and not get a flag on that. Little from the shotgun on the 29-yard line. Got to pick up a 1st down here to keep this game going. He'll drop back. Here's that screenplay again. Carter's got the catch. Look out from behind. He's got a head of steam up. Nope, somebody's playing without a helmet up there. 62 upfield without a bucket on. There's a Langley Ram down in behind as well. And all sorts of things happening on that play right there.
Looks like Christopher Dirksen. That's actually 66, not 56. It's Nikos Lazarakis.
Well done. Been avoiding that one all day. So 2 flags, 3 flags down on the 4 flags down on the field here. 1 at the Rams sideline, 1 at the Rebels sideline.
Lazarakis being walked back to his sideline right now.
1 in the Rams backfield and 1 in the hands of a Rebels defender.
Clock is stopped at 55 seconds. After a pretty solid run up the middle from Joe Carter. That's that little play up the middle.
This game has just been unbelievable.
That screen pass has been the play of the game for Langley.
The final stats in this one will be a sight to behold, especially in the penalty yardage department.
This one's coming way back, though.
They're moving the chains forward.
So it is a 1st down for Langley, but not as far as they might like.
The ball is out to the 44-yard line, 1st and 10 Rams.
I'm curious how all the flags shake out there, but I don't think we're going to get an explanation.
55 seconds to go. Rams need 3 to tie. And they are way offside. This one will come back. They were about 3 yards offside. I think it was Aglanetto who came across way early.
Would have been a 1st down pass to Jacob Stebbins if not for those flags, but
it was a catch indeed, but offside, the easy call there as 5 seconds expire off the clock, and now Langley will face a 1st and 15 from the 39-yard line. This game just refuses to end. And Langley keep it going here. They need a field goal to tie.
Yeah, the Rams probably pretty happy about that.
Little in the shotgun.
Down by 3 late.
Onside this time, crossing pattern. Ball is caught just short of the 1st down.
Jacob Stebbins, the receiver there.
Gotta hurry here. They'll start the clock as soon as they spot the football. It'll be a 2nd and a long 2 here. Ball out to the 53-yard line.
Get a 13 on the play, brings up 2nd and 2.
Duncan Little in hurry-up mode right now.
Clock running. Got to snap this ball here. Little will. He looks over the middle again. High ball. Brought in. Ball loose. And Rebels think they got it here.
Stephen Laguerre made the catch.
I don't know what the call is, whether it's incomplete, a fumble and a recovery, or a fumble and a turnover.
It's either got an incomplete pass or it's
Incomplete is the call. It's 3rd and 2. Ball game on the line here. Got to get to the midfield stripe for a first down. It's a long 2. Call it 3. 31 seconds to go. Little in the shotgun. Carter in the backfield. Ball game right here.
See if they go back to that little screen pass.
And they're way offside again. Man, snap the football.
Penalty problems for both sides. And it had benefited the Rams so many times in the middle quarters here, the 2nd and 3rd. But in the 4th, what goes around comes around. It seems like all of these flags have gone against Langley just about.
Just inexcusable penalties here in this 4th quarter. That's offside on the receivers there. That's just timing from the center to the quarterback to snap the football on time. 3rd and 7. Ball game on the line with 31 seconds to go. Good snap this time. Little looks, throws, and it's incomplete.
Short.
And that is going to do it. That's an incomplete pass, and that's going to be the ball game. Rebels celebrating now, just 27 seconds away from starting the season 1-0, as Langley will feel like one got away on their home field here today as fans start to make their way to the exits. It came down to the final 30 seconds, but unable to convert on a 3rd and 7 after an offside penalty on a 3rd and 2.
I think if you're the Rams, you're, like we said, Jake, multiple times, disappointed in the way this has gotten away from them, but you also have to be pretty satisfied about the level of fight you put up without one of your best offensive weapons. Cody was ejected from this game for little to no reason that we could discern up here in the booth anyways. Had his helmet popped off. It looked like he was the victim of the play and got ejected anyways.
Well, dancing on the sidelines here are the Rebels. It'll be a joyous ferry ride back to Langford as a run on first down.
But that ejection changed the complexion of the Langley offense for the rest of the game.
Really did. They did not have an answer for Javon Cody except to double team him, and once he was gone from the game, they didn't need to do that anymore, which changed the defense for the Rebels completely. As Langley calls one final timeout here with 22 seconds to go.
It's a big reason why the Rams offense only able to put up 1 point in this second half.
I don't know if the Rebels can be particularly happy with their effort here today either. I mean, their penalty yardage that they have taken has just been absurd, and coaching staff cannot be happy about that. Yes, they will get the victory here, and Langley will feel like they let one get away from them. I don't know if either team or either coaching staff will be happy with their performance here in week 1.
The Langley defense made some very impressive stands, particularly in the 3rd quarter. But ultimately, discipline is the story of this game for both sides.
And I suppose at the end of the day, it's week 1 for the officials as well. There's final knee here from the quarterback.
We talked about whether the frequency of penalties in this game was going to lead to some trepidation in making the calls as the game wore on. We were complimenting the officials in the 3rd quarter about how that had not been the case. Kind of ultimately does prove to be the case a little bit here in the 4th, though, unfortunately.
Clock ticking down. One more play to go before the final whistle will sound. And it'll be a 3-point victory for the Westshore Rebels, 19-16 your final, as the final whistle sounds here at McLeod Athletic Park. The 2018 BCF season is underway.
And you have to wonder, how much different does this game play out, that final drive offensively for the Rams, if Ronan Silver's little offside pop at the quarterback that took down Duncan Little before the ball was even snapped.
Yeah.
Goes for a call that gives the Rams a first down there. And you mentioned it multiple times. Just impossible to think that you can hit the quarterback in a situation like that and not even walk away with a penalty for it.
Especially after all the flags that were thrown today. Just incredible.
But I want to point to that as the reason that Langley doesn't win that game, because obviously there's multiple points throughout the contest where they came up a little bit short. But with the game on the line in the fourth quarter, a big call there that just did not come through for them.
That'll wrap things up as handshakes underway here from McLeod Athletic Park in a game that took 3 hours and 15 minutes to get through. Ends in a 3-point victory for the Rebels, 19-16, your final. Rams 0-1, Rebels 1-0. We're back with more action tomorrow in the BCFC. 2 big games going. I should probably pull up my schedule, as I didn't look to see who is exactly. Do you know who's playing tomorrow, Heather? You can just let me know. Let me know. Raiders are in exhibition to take on the Huskers. That's a 2 o'clock start in Chilliwack. And the Sun will take on the thank you very much. Sun will take on the Broncos in Kamloops. That's a 4 p.m. start. You can catch both games right here on BCFC TV. Powered by Remax Treeland Realty here in Langley.
We are off. No home games here for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I will be on the road into Calgary for the next couple anyway, so that works out well. You will have the call August 25th back here at McLeod Athletic Park.
Max Sussman joining me for that one.
Yeah, you'll be on play-by-play as I will be off on another assignment. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Once again, your final score, Westshore 19, Langley 16.
I'll talk to you on August 25th.
For our entire production crew here at 10 Feet Sports and Entertainment and BCFC TV, for Justin Morissette, I've been Jake Elliott. For the Pigskin and Gridiron, we'll see you next time.